Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pylon Show. This is episode number 94. So sorry that we weren't here for the last couple weeks. Our producer has moved and Cobra is finally at his location. It only took him 15 days of driving time to get there. But that being said, very happy to be back. It will be regular once again. I know that this isn't the normal day that we have the Pylon Show. We didn't want to do it like the day that he arrived at his house. So it'll be back to its normal day as of next week. So in 6 days, we'll have another Pylon Show then. And yeah, everything back on track now. So thanks for hanging in there with us. That being said, we have an excellent episode on the way. Let me quickly introduce these guests who have all been here a million times before. NoRegreT, how are you doing, buddy? I love your haircut.
I'm doing great, thanks. This is specifically for you, by the way.
I do.
I had no reason to cut my hair until now.
Did you cut your hair?
No, there's just a place across the street. I just like, we'll go in there.
Because
I showed them my passport picture.
You showed them your passport picture to get your haircut?
This is the only picture I had.
That's the
I don't
only
like carry out of. Well, I mean, like, I guess I could have got my phone out. Never mind.
Yeah, that's just a weird. They must have been like, yeah, no, you don't have to show your passport to get a fucking haircut. Like, what do you think this country is?
It worked. It looks exactly the same, basically. I'd get my passport out, but
Yeah, no, this is really weird to me because normally people have really bad pictures of themselves on their IDs.
I look great in my passport.
Yeah, mine looks pretty good.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Off to a good start on this show.
Yeah, thanks for waking up and with your new passport haircut and coming on. Zombie Grub, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't have many other things to comment on, I suppose. Thanks
Excellent. Okay. So you didn't get a special haircut for the Pylon Show today?
I wish I got a haircut, but no, I'm not allowed to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you live in America. Sorry about that.
Yes. I accept your apology.
Yeah.
Sorry that you live into America. Really good
story,
guys.
Sorry that I was not sensitive to the fact that she cannot get a haircut. And Maynarde, it doesn't look like you cut your hair either, buddy. How are you doing?
I thought about that haircut and I was like, wait, that's not a good idea. That's actually my brand. That's my whole thing that I got going on out there. If I lose that, I lose my power. So I'm just a regular normie if I cut my hair. So of course I didn't get a haircut. I'm doing good, man. It's the new normal, making ends meet. So far, so good.
Good, excellent. All right. Well, this episode is going to be about all sorts of stuff because we missed a ton of stuff over the last couple of weeks not having the show. We'll be talking about GSL, Code S. We'll talk about TSL 5 some. We'll talk about the qualifiers some and whatever else happens to come up. But first off, let me just kind of run through all of our sponsors and everything. Once again, we announced this right before we had to go on that 2-week hiatus. But a huge thanks to all of our Patreons, especially Rip Exodus, who gave us a gigantic contribution, $1,000 on the Patreon, which pushed us past all of our goals. We will be having Artosis on the Pylon Show really soon. And Korean Pro Gamer, huh?
Can I be on that one? With
Absolutely.
Thank you. I miss him.
You are invited. Yeah, that'll be a very fun episode to finally have Artosis up. I can't wait to tell him which day he has to wake up so early and be on the show at 9:45 a.m. Somehow NoRegreT does it every time I ask him to. But that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have a Korean Pro on with a translator as well. Looking forward to that. That'll probably be in maybe 3 weeks or so. I don't have it 100% planned out yet, but now that we're back, we'll rip right through these awesome goals. So thanks again for that. And of course, you can check out our Patreon. It is the way that we really fund the show and take care of everything. So check it out, patreon.com/The Pylon Show. Also, we have our Matcherino page up. Check it out at matcherino.com/The Pylon Show. You can go ahead and sign in and contribute and just kind of print free money for us. The code word today is Cheese Day. Cheese Day. So you go right ahead, you type that in, and you create free money for us. You can also check out things like our little sponsored quests on the side with G Fuel. We also have some merch for sale there, and we're going to be making some more soon. If you have any ideas you want to send in, please drop that in our Discord server or tweet it at someone that's not me that's involved with the Pylon Show. Also, you can check out thepylonshow.com for all of our Pylon Show stuff, podcasts, the show notes, everything that is possible, as well as the link tree, linktr.ee/the Pylon Show, which will kind of do the same thing that the pylonshow.com does for you and give you links to absolutely everything Pylon Show oriented. All right, so getting that stuff all out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump into this week in StarCraft, which is really this past 3 weeks in StarCraft. And then we'll get into our main topics. So let's go ahead and jump down to page number 3. Some of the things that we'll be talking about: ESL Open Cups, GSL Season 2, TeamLiquid StarLeague 5, and GSL again. Well, those are really our main topics. So we'll skip over those a little bit quickly. Within this week in StarCraft, we do have the ESL Open Cups. You can definitely check those out. You can see that the points definitely are starting to make a difference for everyone. Go ahead, sign up, play in these if you want to get bashed by some pro gamers. We also have the GSL. Well, we'll skip over that one because we're talking about that more in depth, and the next one as well because it's TeamLiquid StarLeague, and the next one as well as it's GSL. Thank you to the wonderful Alessandro for putting this all together. Of course, you guys can check back into this for anything that I brush over too quickly. Let's go down to ESL Cup Korea on page number 9. We had Stats take out Zest in the finals. Look at that. Protoss has won a tournament. Congrats to True for making top 4 before going to the military, and Trap for making top 4 as well. We also have the ESL Cup EU with Hero Marine picking up yet another title there. Just ridiculous how many times he has actually won this tournament. We also had number 19, Clem defeated Showtime. Showtime defeated Hero Marine in number 21, and Showtime defeated Denver in at number 21, 22, whatever. There's a lot of them. God, we missed a lot of these tournaments here in the past few weeks. All right, also ESL Cup NA. Number 18, Clem defeated Drogo. Neeb defeated Bly in number 19. Number 20, Clem defeated Namshar. And number 21, Clem defeated Parting.
There it is. I said it's Clem, and the NA one specifically. He shows up, stays up till 5 a.m. and beats everybody.
Yeah, well, I guess you can do that when you're... Yeah, when you're so young, you can stay up in the middle of the night. I've like... I did like 2 things recently for stream/StarCraft where I had to be up in the middle of the night. I can't do it anymore, man. It's fucking terrible. And then I'm tired all day. These kids, though, they've got the power. Congrats to Clem for picking up so many victories there. We also have the ESL Open Cups AU. Scyther taking out Mighty Kiwi in the finals with Justice Simon and Chase hitting those top 4. Olima League. Did you cast this one, Maynard?
Which one? It's been 3 weeks, right? Which one are we looking at?
As well. I mean, we could do anyone that you want. I guess this last one, it was the May finals, right? Stats over patience.
Sorry, say again.
The May finals?
Okay, yes, the May finals. That was just this week. I did cast that. It was it was a good time for sure. It was cool to see Bunny actually get into the top 4 there. He's not normally one to get too deep in the monthlies, but you know, flying the flag for the Terran race in the top 4 is quite nice. It's been a pretty Protoss heavy month, I suppose, for Olima League. So not a surprise at all to see a lot of Protosses in that top 8. So I had to, you know, PvP is a matchup that I find a little bit difficult to sort of analyze, especially when you're solo casting. So it's nice to practice, I suppose. There's a lot of robos in the middle of maps, and you know,
I was going to say
out there in general.
Really, it's not that hard. You're like, oh yeah, look where he's hiding that Twilight. That's really cool. I wonder if that'll get scouted. I guess he's behind.
Yeah, that is actually a lot of it now that you break it down. I needed PvP cast coaching from you before this Olima League final, but next time I'll be ready. But yeah, it was actually, you know, as a quick note before we move on, it was really cool to see Stats just body people. Like, actually didn't drop a map. He was looking incredibly good in that May final. Yeah.
Good to see. I do like it when the meta settles and Stats starts to dominate once again. Hopefully, he does well in the upcoming season. Yeah. All right. So you can check those VODs out, of course, over on Maynard's stream. We also have OSC King of the Hill Weekly. It looks like Kelliger defeated all comers but one, leaving Sol as the final king. Yeah, and then Sol nearly cleared the hill the next week, falling to Denver, who was taken around by the final king special. This is over on Creighton's stream. You can check it out. Fun little King of the Hill tournament. We also have the Master Swan Open. It looks like Pantheon defeated Nameless 3-1 in the finals of number 35. You can check that over on the Cranky Duckling stream. We also have the Sea Duckling Open. And this one is for some slightly lower ranked players. Waj Kyo defeated Papa Panda 3-0 in those finals. So yeah, check that out over on the Cranky Duckling stream. We also have the Grand Platypus Open with Demi taking down Gogo Joey, and then Gogo Joey taking down Pez in the last two of them. So congrats to them. Gogo Joey being very solid in the region. Again, on Cranky_Ducklings on Twitch TV. We also have Battle of the Americas. Special 3-1 over Vindicta in the finals with Cham, the normal winner of the tournament in the round of 4, and Nina also in round of 4. Congrats to all involved. We also have the Sentimiento Latino tournament. Ryu over Sinner 3-0 in the finals with Universe and Paco Mike in the top 4. Again, on Cranky Ducklings. Those guys are making a lot of content nowadays. All right, the Spicy League Season 2. It looks like it has ended. Single Horny Ponies defeated Team Bear Me 4-1 in the finals. All right, congrats to all involved. Cranky Ducklings once again. The official stream. Oh, we have the Legacy.
I was making team names like that when I was like a 14-year-old FPS gamer.
Yep.
It's nice to see things stay the same.
Oh, yep. They certainly do. People never really grow up, do they? We also have the Legacy Weekly Japan. Winter for Fun takes it down 2-1 over Psyarch. Of course, if you live in Japan, speak Japanese, this is the tournament for you. Definitely check it out to connect with other people from your region. We also have the Underdogs 2020 Season 2 in the lower bracket. Denver defeated Shadow to advance. And it looks like Droga versus Denver down there. DNS versus Rotab as well. Up in the winter bracket finals, it looks like we have Clem versus Marine Lord. So a damn stacked tournament right there. Check it out. OGaming SC2 on Twitch. We also have Championship of Russia 2020. Skillus took it down over Cougar in the finals with Vanya and Braddock rounding out the tournament. You can check that out on vk.com/resf. Gold Series Team Championship 2020 Spring. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Tasteless's favorite team. 7-0 so far in the tournament. You can check this out over on Wardy's channel. Playoffs are beginning in 5 days. All right, we have the Kung Fu Cup 2020, cast by Creighton and Wardy, so you can check it out on their streams. It looks like Solar took down Dream 3-1 in the finals with Estrella and Zest rounding out that top 4. We also had Dark win the week before against Solar 3-2 in that finals. Wardy TV Team League Season 9. Looks like TeamLiquid ends up taking it down on quite a roll recently. 4-1 over the Fantastic Five. Congrats to them. Big prize will involve. Check it out over on Wardy's channel once again. We also have the Four Corners Brawl. Starkiller and Nina advanced from Group A. 4 teams submit 4 players each. These players will do their best to represent their squad and sweep up as much prize money as possible. All right, so a little team battle going on over at Creighton's channel. Check it out. All right, we have Le Espira 2v2 tournament, 2nd edition. Destroyer, TT, and Kazo Fate take down NL Ghost and Sector in the finals. The stream is on Horus TV. We also have Amantes de StarCraft 2, 2nd edition for StarCraft lovers, if you don't read Spanish like I do. A 3-1 victory with the Zerg Lord over Zinho. Congrats. We also have Method Mayhem StarCraft 2. Soul defeated Clem. Climbed back to the finals over the corpse of Bly to clobber Soul 3-1 in the finals. This is some great copy on this one. I love it. This is cast by the Muslim in Rotterdam over at twitch.tv/method. All right, Stay at Home Story Cup number 2. The first qualifier won by Clem 2-0 over Soul. This kid just is winning everything. It's crazy. You can check it out, of course, over on Take TV, Wardy TV, OGaming TV, and Indie. And we also have the Ow Die Weekly. Quantel 3-2 over Vivid in the finals. Congrats to Quantel for the victory. We also have a Singapore versus Thailand show match with Team Thailand 4-3 over Team Singapore. Check that out on nameless_SC2 on Twitch TV. Also have the Alpha X Junior Championship Series, Season 6. Arag Fire 4-0 over Wannabe Beyond. Of course, this is for players that are 15 years old or younger that are under 6K MMR, kind of the future of StarCraft type tournament. Check it out over on Alpha X's stream. We also have Alpha X Dragons Arena number 4. Jishi over Mixed 3-1 in the finals. Oh, that's cool. A little Chinese tournament going on. Breaking GG and Shigua in that top 4 as well. It was on Mage 1404 on Twitch. All right, the Alpha X Code CD GSL style tournament where 13 Korea/Asia based players challenged 3 of the best EU players for minimum $2,000 prize pool. Looks like Stats took out Raynor 4-2 in that little finals match. We also had Zest and Innovation in that little group. Kind of a cool idea for a tournament. Check it out over on Alpha X SC2 on Twitch. All right, Alpha Pro Series. Sort of defeated Mousa 5-3 in number 176. That was on May 29th, and you can check it out over on Alpha X SC2. We have the Alpha Pro Series Ultimate Showdown, cast by Kozan. Hurricane Bomber, Dream, Armani, and Impact, again on Alpha X SC2 on Twitch TV. That has not played out yet. We also have the Sheer Shoddy Open. Number 19, Nina, reverse swept Patty Mac in the finals 3-2. Check it out on Sheer Shoddy's channel. Congrats to Nina for the victory. The Magic Carp Masters Cup number 2. Chocolate. Chocolate. It's like chocolate. Took down the Kyojin in the finals there. Congrats. It looks like this is for bronze through 4900 MMR on the NA server. That's kind of insulting. They call that the Magic Carp Cup, isn't it?
Yeah. 49 is not that bad.
No, it's good.
You can't just you don't just splash at 4900. You actually have some attacks, I feel.
Yeah. Well, you have struggle at that point. That's the other.
Yeah, you can hard it.
You run out of splash, and you can struggle your way to victory. Well, one day maybe they'll become the mighty Gyarados. We'll see. The Cock of the Walk weekly tournament. Vanya 3-0 over Milky Cow with Spaz and Keej in the top 4. You can check that out on Chicken Man SC's Twitch channel. We also have a Freak World where Zest defeated Solar 4-2 in a group that also had Hurricane and Cure, cast by Falcon Paladin and Laughing Games over on Afrika TV. Corporate Esports Association Alexa 12 Pool defeated Microsoft Macrohard while Amazon Painforest took down OK Googler in the semifinals. And so I guess the finals is Alexa 12 Pool. Will they become the first time repeat champions?
They already did.
Oh, they did. Damn. All right.
It's already finished.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can see now down at the bottom, cast by Fear Dragon and Zombie Grub. All right. Well, there you have it. Were there good games in there?
Yeah, actually, everyone who participates in the finals are like, well, not everyone, but we had like we had a 6K guy play, and then there's a lot of like 5.4. With like one of the guys being maybe like 4.6 or something, but then everyone else is actually really quite good. So there's some good games. All right.
Twitch.tv/CEA_SC2. Check it out. With the cast by Fear Dragon and Zombie Grub. We also have a Fluffy Boom Cup Resurrection. That's a great.
I'm sorry, what?
Fluffy Boom Cup
Fluffy
Resurrection.
Boom. Okay, yeah, I see the page now. Wow.
Yeah. All right. The stream is BoomTTSC2. You can check this out. It looks like Mana took out MaxPax 4-0 in the finals. Wasn't MaxPax Russian? It's got a Danish flag there.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure the flag might be right. I don't think MaxPax is Russian. I don't think. Yeah.
I feel like we'd have more memes if he was Russian. Especially with his like proxy style. I don't know.
The Russians
comes
are
off as a Dane. He's chill.
He's Danish.
There's some wild Danish players, man.
Why did I think he was Russian?
Sounds like a you problem, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats to Mana for taking down the legendary MaxPax 4-0 in that finals. All right, Some Drunk Canadians' first ever winner chicken dinner, where you play for a chicken dinner or whatever you feel like eating, up to $30 with delivery. Looks like GP Snoxtar took down Iron Lungs, and then Laughing Games took down Xanady EZ. Oh, wow, Laughing Games won a tournament. That's kind of cool. Being a caster from the scene. Yeah, you can check this out over on Some Drunk Canadian stream or SDC Chicken Dinner on Challenge. Okay, very cool. We also have the Pizza Pie bi-weekly season number 3. Masa 3-2 over Asuna. That's his second pizza. Gets out of that pleb tier 1 pizza stuff. Congrats to Masa. Looks like we don't have any news on what his topping was. But there you go. Yeah, Star Killer was taken out by Asuna in that round of 4, so it doesn't quite extend his lead any further this time. All right, we have Platinum Heroes 2v2 Extravaganza. The casters are Buddy and Firebird. You can check that out on Platinum Heroes on Twitch. And just some upcoming tournaments you can check out. We also have The Pig Show, episode number 14. Pig talks with Raynor. Definitely one of the more entertaining people in the scene. So check it out over on Pig's YouTube. All right, this week in Brood War, we have the Brood War G's weekly. Scan takes down another one over Parfume. I think this is going to be a common occurrence as Scan is now out of the military. Congrats to Scan for another tournament victory. We also have At You, Sham 2's tournament. Looks like Dandy took down Tech 2-1 in the finals. Live Leak and Casper rounding out that top 4. Check that out over on Sham 2's stream. We also have the STPL, Shinhan Tank Pro League, over on STPL TV. It looks like Soul Gaming is in a lead with 6-0. So congrats to them. We also have the Undermine podcast, in episode number 42. How Pan, author of Halo, and Dan Gant, author of Purple Wave and other purple bots, talked about everything having to do with StarCraft 1 bots. Check it out on makingcomputerdothings.com. Okay, that is This Week in StarCraft. We did it.
Whew.
Okay.
Wow, there was a lot to go through there. All right. So now it is time to jump into our topics a little bit here. I guess let's talk about some TSL first. Why not? Yeah, I'm in charge. We can do that.
I'm the big man with big boy pants.
Yeah, big man pants. Love it. Okay, so let's talk about TSL. Obviously, Zombie Grub, you're casting quite a bit of that. Just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on what's going on. I haven't gotten to watch all of the tournament for sure. There's a hell of a lot of games in there, and you guys have had some very long nights so far. But we are really nearing the end of the tournament now. Wow, I can almost speak. My mouth is starting to get dry. But we've definitely had like a lot of huge upsets, some very good matches in there. Let me hear what you guys think about it so far. No? Okay. Next stop. Cool.
I was just waiting to see who spoke first, and everyone else was just being so timid.
I can give my
Like,
caster's
oh god, they're all looking at me, and
but
everyone can hear me.
it'll be different from the viewer's perspective, I think. Like, I made a joke in chat once or twice about how like people in chat are complaining about the music so much they don't complain about the casters. That seems to be the hottest topic.
Must be refreshing.
Said everyone doesn't like the music, but it probably wasn't what you were.
Yeah, I like it.
Well,
it's like a little mix-up, you know, something new.
Yeah. I think it makes it very unique, right?
Yeah.
I think that the way they've done it is really good. There are some production kind of problems, and like they wanted to kind of experiment with like a live stream, like network stream rather, I should say, and that might have led to less than 100% casting from me and Wordy. It's very difficult to do so when you're not in game and there's a delay between you and the observer. But other than that, they've been very receptive of feedback, and it's been awesome to work with them. So I'm really glad that people seem to really enjoy TSL. Like, it seems to be the right thing at the right time, right?
I didn't get to watch much of it live, but I got to watch all the VODs. So I've seen all the VODs like after the fact. And it's it's actually as a viewer, I really appreciate it because I just feel like today it's hard to be original. I guess like it's hard to have something that's different from everyone else. Like, and I think they like that plunge of going for like the claymation, sort of like just at an artwork perspective, the claymation thing, the cute sort of almost toy box sounds. Like the bracket is a bunch of paddle pop sticks with like ice cream sticks with like the names and the scores on the end. I just love the aesthetic of it. I think the music is actually really fitting. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it actually fits. It's actually quite chill. It puts me in a good mood. I find myself smiling often, like just if I come outside of my body and look down, it's like, oh, I'm smiling right now. I'm enjoying this. And the cast have been great. Like the pairings are fantastic. I'm obviously know from talking to Zombie Grub in between casts the delay stuff affects things, but like you said, it's fixed. They're back in game now, and everything. There's no problems in that regard anymore. And I think it's been a great experience. I also like the change they made to go from full screen webcam over to having a smaller webcam image inside of more of a backdrop. Because honestly, if you're tuning in and it's just two people with a split cam and with weird toy box music in the background, like like Pee-wee's Playhouse music in the background, you're like, what the fuck is this? That now when you have like the actual tournament name and the series coming up, and that's the thing, I feel like it gives you a little bit like, oh, this is a StarCraft tournament. Okay, got it. If you're potentially a not StarCraft fan tuning in, you're like, what is this? But yeah, as a viewer, as a fan, I love it. I love it. Good tournament. Can't wait for the finals.
I like what you said about the way they've kind of made it very different from other tournaments. I can't believe people complain about that because it gets a little bit fucking boring when everything is just kind of the same thing over and over. And to just have that
community in general
is awesome.
I think the StarCraft community in general, because it's such an old, like not an old community as in age-wise, although that also is true, but like sort of like the game's been around for so long. I've sort of theory crafting a little bit that the like StarCraft 2 and 1, 2 maybe less so, but they don't really like change much, or they find change like abrasive at first. Always default to abrasive and finding it hard to digest before like giving it a bit more time. Obviously, after a few weeks of TSL, I think people are coming around to it, but first week definitely it was just like everyone was like, "What the fuck?" Because they're so used to having things a certain way over so many years,
Sure.
For some reason, when I watched TSL, it kind of brought me back a bit to when I was younger. I have no idea why, but I think I know now more than I did before talking or hearing Maynarde talk. I think it's the newness of it and the fact that it's unique brought me back to something like before. I feel like I've seen every tournament, every format. There's nothing new and unique, but when I watched it, I don't know what it was. It was something really refreshing. It reminded me of back in the day when we had new tournaments every now and then, and theme tournaments and whatever. There was just so much uniqueness in it because it was such a young game, I guess, back then. I really like it. I wish there was more theming and more fun around StarCraft and not as much just, here's the bracket. Oh, look, it's innovation. It's clobbering somebody. Good job. Like I like the show aspect of it more than the games now because I've seen infinite games. I've been here for 10 years. So it's kind of nice to have like an actual production and something, other than the games. It's been fun. The games have been insane, by the way. Like the Rainer versus Innovation series blew my mind. I didn't even get to see the whole thing, but the fake bunker was like so smart. I was like, this is such a smart play, especially on Zen because there's a double bunker wall. You feel like really bad if you're the Zerg player. I think it works so much on Zen because it's so scary, the double bunker wall. Oh man, I thought he was like 600 IQ. He's like, oh, he's not gonna pull that many drones. He's such a genius, and then he pulls all of them. I'm like, no, he fell for it. It was so sick. That was my favorite play.
The games have been pretty cool. Like they feels like every week there's like some okay games one day and like really, really great games another day. Every weekend, like interchanges like that. So I was glad I got the really cool games on Sunday because that was certainly very cool. And Zest seems to be proven that I don't know, he's in a very weird spot, man. Like honestly, his play doesn't look that great even this past weeks. You're kind of just like, oh, look at that macro. Oh, I got supply block. But like even despite falling down like he did, because that was like the start of TSL was like, oh my god, like this is the time for the non-Koreans to rise up. And then, well, like most tournaments, the Koreans were like, no, actually, JK, we're gonna win. But anyways, Zest has now brought up a new style of play, which is I do think is pretty cool.
Looking forward to that revenge match, Zest versus Geothermal. That was the first match that I
Yeah.
made sure to watch was Zest Geothermal because I
think it
like
was the first match
I'm
at
like
all.
3-0, what the fuck is this? And then it takes me 12 minutes to watch the whole series, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, that first day had a lot of one-sided series, and I think also the Roddy Day 9 day also had a lot of weird one-sided kind
That
of
was
crazy
this
results.
Geothermal one, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I enjoyed that day a lot. I think the casting was quite fun in that one. It was
Yeah.
kind of nice to hear day 9 again. Like I felt overall it wasn't like a lot of knowledge gaps or anything. It just felt fun and refreshing again. Again, that could have also been another reason why it brought me back too. Is the fact of hearing Day 9's voice in a tournament. It brought me back to MLG days and that kind of stuff. Especially seeing such a wide variety of players, and I don't know, it was just really refreshing. Really enjoyable.
He still has the ability to like just be able to say stuff that's still mostly like relevant.
Yes,
and still like
that was surprising.
String things together and just be a good broadcaster in general. So it's just experience.
Yeah, he has really good just RTS knowledge in general. Like he's very smart. Like you can tell that there's some things that are kind of missing, like very relevant to like very current meta. But overall, like broad RTS like knowledge is very good. Like definitely on point. It was quite enjoyable. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was refreshing having him having him poke his head in. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's has caused a lot of asking questions about when he's going to come back.
It is now the only question you get for a lot of TSL. TSL Twitch chat. I've minimized it several weeks ago because it is just now Wednesday 9. I'm sorry, did I leave Day 9 card? Day 9 on screen? And I'm like, all right, guys, there are two very professional, very good commentators casting right now, and you should probably just sit and listen to them because they are doing a very good job.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyways, but they I do think that is somewhat on like the whole organization of it. Like you say Day 9's gonna cast, you don't say when. People knew because he put it in his stream title.
Let's make it clear right now that let's just let everyone watching right now tell them ZG. What's the news on Day 9 coming back?
He is not going to be casting TSL.
There it is. Sorry, guys.
So if you were expecting it, it's not going to happen. But he said he was open for coming back for StarCraft. Like this, the thing is like, I mean, there's like a ton of controversy. I think we could like have a whole other discussion about whether like old school casters can even come back into the scene for like multiple reasons and whatnot. But like Day 9 has actually been like he's always been in chats, man. When I was streaming StarCraft Remastered when it first came out, he was in my chat like talking to me. When we go and visit him and like BlizzCon and stuff, will always be like, remember that one that match that happened a week ago, and you're like, oh shit. Like he's always in being involved. So I mean, it was really cool to have him back, and it definitely helped the atmosphere.
And see chat right now. This is the.
It is like a little bit just like when it really enforces the point that as like the new casters, the rest of us here except Artosis, like we can never beat that. Like there's a little bit of awe in it, and also like feels bad, man.
I did say at the beginning of our review of the TSL that as and putting it in very nice words that the StarCraft community in particular is very afraid of change. They want to be the old days for sure.
I mean, the game is at a point where
where it's like, that whole change thing. Change sucks.
There's like also nostalgia at this rate because people people like
always
watching with the beginning is 10 or that was 10 years ago now. Like 13, I was 13 in the beginning.
It's weird because there's been nostalgia since 2013. Back in 2013, people were saying, "Oh, StarCraft's not where it used to be. We need 2011 back," and you're like,
2013 was the worst year of StarCraft.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
I agree.
That year,
Heart of the Storm came out.
That's why everyone was nostalgic. It was just a bad game.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was a rough period for the game, and probably a large contributor as to where it actually speaks to the greatness of StarCraft that the game is still around and very relevant after that series.
Do you guys remember
that year?
Was it Firecake versus Stefano?
Firecake Mono?
Bruising.
No. It was ZVZ, and it was Swarmhost versus Swarmhost.
Sure.
Was that on Daybreak? Was it like the Swarmhost?
I want to say it was King Sejong Station.
Okay, because I remember sitting there and watching like a late game. It's like 30 minutes in, ZVZ, Broodlords are throwing broodlings at each other, and Swarmers are firing locusts at each other. I'm
broke
like,
the game.
what is this? This game sucks.
It literally broke the game.
I remember one of the players just like left and just brought their army up into their main and just gave up everything, and they're like, all right, come at me.
That was back in the day when like I literally made and went. I made pancakes. I left the cast at around 20 minutes and made pancakes and came back and ate them all within the same game.
They should have changed the draw mechanics because like there was no draws because units were getting killed all the time. You know, like
yeah, it was
so
crazy. Yeah, like certainly that was a very very bad time. The beginning of Heart of the Swarm was kind of like yay, no more Broodlord or Infestor, and then it quickly just. Yeah.
I remember when I played ZVZ back in the day, it was like a proper gentleman's agreement to not build the swarm host because the counter to the swarm host in ZVZ back then was the swarm host. So we would go into like these 4-hour games for 14 points. I'm like, everyone would avoid it, even though we knew once we played tournaments, it's on swarm host time, But on the ladder, no one did it. It's just so bad, like going into swarm host.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that because when you think about it, right, like the Korean style stayed very roach heavy, and the European style evolved into all sorts of like later game tactics.
Yeah,
and I think that's because they really wanted those fucking 14 ladder points. So they were always willing.
They're always swarm hosting.
Fuck that! I have a life. I'm gonna make roaches. You're gonna make roaches. It seems better at making roaches. So
that could be it. That's funny.
You could do a very
you know who did not respect the gentleman's agreement was probably Firecake, and he was playing on the European ladder.
Actually, I used to watch Snoot a lot, and I remember just sitting there in 2014, just sitting in my lounge room on a whiskey, going, "What does a Snoot ladder session look like?" He probably plays for 6 hours and plays 3 games. And it's like,
yeah.
Like imagine watching players where every day you ladder to practice and you get 3 games in, and you are just the most patient person on the entire planet, and you want it to get there because that's when you're strongest. And I'm like, oh wow, just imagine playing that game.
Played a best of 69 and macroed every game. No one does that except Snoot and Bunny, apparently.
Snoot and Bunny, yeah,
that's crazy.
Like, why would they ever? But they were very patient. Europeans were very patient, is what we learned from
those days.
Yeah. Anyways, to bring it back to TSL, I think one of the more interesting things about TSL is, and that's why I brought up like the atmosphere and stuff, is that like as a tournament, this is kind of our first step into the new world of esports tournaments for StarCraft 2. Obviously, GSL like had to adapt a little bit as well, but you guys mostly see the same production, just don't have a crowd. Yeah. So that's what I was most interested in seeing because we still have questions. They just recently released the DreamHack Masters qualifiers, but they still don't have any more information, which is actually getting a little nervous because it's definitely happening like next week. But this was the first time that we actually had like full production come in for an online tournament and show us what the new world is going to be like. So I think there was a lot of apprehension, but they really did a great job. Like the fact that they bring in DreamHack to do production as if it is a live event, but the casters are all in their bedrooms. It worked out really well. So but I don't know.
You did mention the being not synced with the observer, right? That's
yeah. So well, here's the thing: is that
bed.
in a weird twist, right? Like, so first of all, it just proves how well they receive feedback. Anytime we had anything to say, they'd immediately be like, okay, we'll talk to people about it. We'll think about doing this or blah, blah, blah. It did suck that one time when they went the whole day, but that was also on us not really making a big enough point. I think we kind of just were like, we can do this. We just don't want to. And they're like, oh, but it helps us. But yeah, they stopped doing that. But I want to credit them because basically what they're like, that they did was like, we want to try and spread the love. Right. So they tried bringing Mapu in. But the way that they have to do it is add another person to the production crew to follow his camera. If they don't, just make us watch his point of view from a network stream. Mm-hmm. So that was the only thing, and obviously it didn't affect the broadcast, very much at all. So when we were like, hey, like maybe we'd be better if we're in game, they were like, okay, we'll make that work. Mm-hmm. So. They're very receptive, and they want to, actually give everyone the best thing possible. Because that was the other thing, is that Mapu's like kind of deemed as the best observer, and they want to try and make that work. But there is a little bit of experimentation with this tournament. For me, I just wanted to bring up that it kind of proved that this can work out fine. Like everyone seems to really like TSL. So online tournaments aren't the worst thing ever that we're going to have to live with for the next year.
Better than no tournaments, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, yeah. But it's still like, you know, I think there was maybe some apprehension that it would just be like watching something, not to be rude, but it'd be like watching a weekly, right? Which has, you know, it's fun, but it's not really prestigious. But I think everyone's really enjoyed TSL.
Yeah, and it how different it is, it does feel a bit more prestigious because of that, I feel like, too. It's just, like, the different production value. I don't know, it's also, I wanna mention because, you know, you guys said, like, we're in this kind of world of online tournaments right now because of Corona and everything, but can you imagine when we finally have, like, a real live LAN event again somewhere? That's gonna be so hype. I'm gonna be so excited. Like I want wherever it is, I want to cast it so badly, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be like it's gonna feel,
Dude,
I think, like the old
gonna
days,
be
like
like
MLGs or something. Where like, yeah, we're all here, yeah, this is great.
I was actually thinking the other day about like when COVID's like completely like maybe there's a vaccine, maybe it's a year, maybe 2 years down the line, and no one's really worried about it anymore, and we're back to the way things were, or some version of the way things were. And I was instantly thinking of people that like primarily date on Tinder and that sort of thing, where they couldn't do that for like a year or a year and a half, and then all of a sudden they get to pop the cork and get on there again. I'm like, oh wow, that's going to be intense for everyone involved. But that first cast, man, that's going to be like all of us getting back on our apps, getting back on that cast once again, and we're going to go ham, dude. It's going to be like I'm going to probably destroy myself screaming at games that aren't that exciting. You're gonna have the deepest and most like the Mariana Trench deep analysis. You're gonna bring every single stat that you've been collecting for the last year and a half of just sitting in your house in Korea. Zombie Grub's the same deal. She's gonna have an even thicker notebook than Katowice. It's gonna be like Sun Tzu's Art of War,
Exactly.
just with like
Yep.
filled with stats from all the online tournaments. She's gonna have her head's gonna be this big because it's just expanded with all this StarCraft knowledge. It just needs to get it out.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a haircut.
It's got to pop the cork, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man.
Everyone's got way longer hair and
Yeah, that's the thing is like everyone has way longer hair and a lot of us have gained a few pounds.
Yeah.
There's been like memes about that Tinder thing where it's like when we're back in the club after COVID is done and it's like a picture of a walrus and it's like I'm filled with sexual urges. That's awesome.
Someone dances with me.
Yeah, it's gonna be us in the StarCraft cast.
Can't wait.
But it will be like it'll probably be like a gradual thing, right? Where we do like studio broadcasts and
Yeah, they're gonna
adding
ease
more
us in.
people.
They just throw us right in the deep end like that. We'll go crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess back to TSL for a moment here. Do you guys have any like series for people that didn't get to watch much of it yet? Like any series that really stand out as like, oh, this is a great one?
I mean, Cyril Rayner was actually really fantastic. I know a lot of people didn't like ZVZ, but put that aside and just watch that series. It was actually really, really good games. Well, I mean, Cyril and Rayner might disagree, but I liked the games a lot. I thought it was a really cool back and forth. It's cool to see the rivalry be so close as well. It was a very close score. And if you like just madness and Roddy laughing a lot, Zest TY. That was also pretty crazy.
Yep.
Turns out that if you are a bit more of a drunken master rather than a clean kung fu artist, then you will beat some of the best in the world for sure. And that is what that series is to me. It's a man making moves that don't make sense, but they work. God damn it!
You have me
Do they
excited
ever-
about it, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it, TY Zest is my go-to recommendation, and then yeah, maybe Cyril Rayner, and then I also want to give a shout out to like TY Showtime, but like they had interesting games, they had weird games, they had macro games, and it was just proof that like Showtime can actually still bring it to the Korean Terrans, but I had a bit of personal bias on that one, so.
Cool.
I mean, I liked Rayner because of that play, like that one single play.
Sick. Like it really was.
It was just it was like a moment for me. Like, why doesn't everybody do this? Like, we're so scared of Turax right now on ladder.
Yeah, like, that plus just like it was like a story of like how good you are at the game and how good you are at breaking your opponent's mentality.
Problem solving too. It's like, how am I gonna stop this like runaway train of Rayner down 2-0?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like that series.
Yeah.
Cool. So the tournament finishes this weekend, right?
Yep.
Excellent. Everyone tune in. TeamLiquid StarLeague 5. Have we heard if they're planning on doing a number 6 since we're in this new online world and it's you
hope
can
so.
kind of compete
I don't know
in a way.
anything.
It's kind of
That's-
up to the sponsors, right? Like it's up to
Yeah.
Shopify and
I want to
and
say
Twitch
it's
and
been
everyone.
a big success. I mean, they even, and I have to like make
Okay.
sure and double check here because I don't want to reveal something that's not actually revealed.
yeah,
Oh no.
gotta be careful
Okay.
with that.
Maybe it's good that I double checked.
Okay, never mind.
All right, well, hold
Yeah.
that.
Well, okay. So like Rich,
There's an
Rich,
announcement coming.
so Rich tweeted about it, and then I retweeted it, and then I think he might have been told he wasn't supposed to tweet about it yet. So nothing, guys.
Yeah,
Nothing.
forget it.
Never mind. Don't
We're
dig
gonna-
through
Forget
the history. Okay. All right.
It was
so that's,
onlyfans.com TeamLiquid. I'm not afraid to say it.
That's where they congregate all the posts of every TeamLiquid pro gamer taking pictures of themselves in Marvel hoodies saying that they're great. That's really
or TLO shirtless in front of a barbecue with a giant beard.
Yes.
That legendary photo that keeps coming back.
All right. Okay, let's move on, I guess, to GSL. Just the main term, and then we'll talk about the qualifiers as well, because those are going on and very exciting. But yeah, GSL, we're going to the finals now. TY versus Cure. I mean, it's kind of funny. We haven't been on for a couple weeks, so we've missed talking about a lot of the different matches. But I guess, what have you guys thought of the tournament so far? Your general
Of Codes.
thoughts? Like, is this a good
The last
GSL?
Like the casters.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, those passes.
I thought it was
Actually,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
you go. No, you go. No, you go.
You go. Okay, I'll go.
No, you. No,
I
you.
thought it was a sad tournament for Zergs. Like, not because Zerg is like doing poorly, but I thought the players didn't show up. A lot of them felt like the
Mm.
strategies kind of felt clunky, and like for example, Dark versus Tasia, I still can't get over. What was his army composition? Like it was like Roche Hydra Lurker or something. I don't even know. It was just so clunky and bad. Like I don't know. I was like, he could not have practiced that and thought, oh, this is a pretty good composition. You know, like he could not have practiced that and thought that. Like I refuse. What he did was he was so cocky. He's like, I can do literally anything I want here, and it was so bad. Like I was really disappointed by that.
You're breaking my heart right now. That was the best series of the fucking tournament.
Yeah, that was
No, I mean his composition was so bad though. Did you ever see an engagement where you're like, oh, you know, this is an even fight or something? It was just every time the engagement happened, Dark was like getting pounded, and he just happened to be a better player and like had more economy. Was able to throw more stuff at him. I don't know. All the Zergs did this though too. It wasn't just Dark. Rogue getting cheesed out by Scarlett. Like, I mean, I was on the hype train. I was there with everything, but like, how do you let that happen? How do you just get drone pull, spine crawler rushed, and lose your tournament? Like, I get the simulacrum game.
Literally, you and Scarlett playing
No.
that.
The
and, like-
simulacrum game. The simulacrum game is totally not his fault. Like, it's something he's never seen before. It was a strategy we literally came up with on the fly. It can be confusing. But the drone pull game, like a hatch first after getting cheesed basically every game, like I don't know about that. Like
Yeah,
you would consider yourself a better player. Why would you cut that corner? You know, especially because we know 12 pull drone pull is so popular right now in the meta.
Yeah.
I thought Parting versus Ragnarok was like one of the weirdest series I've ever seen, where
Mm.
like Parting is just winning and then he blinks forward and loses everything. I'm like, what? Like he's winning the entire game the entire time.
Mhm.
Like that series was like thrown off a cliff, and then he does really well. By the way, these are all kind of good things. I know I'm kind of framing it as really bad things, but the fact that it's so unique and fun, I guess, is also good.
Mhm.
But these are total upsets. Like, let's see what else. I think that was about it for me. Like big things. I thought Parting versus Maru was disappointing because Maru should have played like TY. Like, you know that meme? But like that was such an obvious thing, right? Like he was gonna do the same thing. He literally does that on Twitch. He literally does what he was doing in Twitch. You could watch a Parting VOD and beat Parting if you're Maru. I refuse to believe that you watched a Parting VOD and couldn't figure out how to beat it. You know?
It did feel weird that Maru wasn't prepared for Parting as TY was, because
TY
normally
clobbered him.
he is such a god at preparing. Like that's Maru's whole thing was that he was a prep god, right?
But
But-
his prep godliness isn't reactive prep godliness, right? I feel like Maru's
He
prep
preps
is
himself.
way
His
more.
games, like you
Yeah,
can
he
watch
preps
Card and stream.
himself and what he wants
Yeah.
to do. You take
That's
that
a problem.
whereas TY preps against a player. I feel like that's
Okay.
my take on them.
If you're ever gonna prep against a player, it would be parting though. Like
Well,
you might as well be
feel
playing the
like-
Korean Haas or SOS or somebody. You don't just go into the game and be like,
SOS.
I'll play my own self. Hey, he's the Korean SOS parting. Come on.
You know the SOS.
I was
SOS.
quite disappointed though.
Really?
Like, and this happens so much. Like, you see Maru always get bopped by someone who's prepping for him better than he's prepping for them. Like,
Maybe that's
Maru
just
is so good. I just refuse to believe that Maru should lose the parting consistently in here, but it happened. And then TY did what Maru should have did, which was, like basically never move out and let parting kill himself over the course of a game. And then, yeah. So that side, I wasn't surprised. I actually thought if parting won versus TY, he'd win the whole thing because that would just be mind blowing to me. Like something's up, like he's figured out PvT, like something's clicked because TY was never gonna let parting just do what he wanted to do and win. So I kind of expected it in this result too, a 2-4. And yeah, I would have been mind blown, and I would have just been like, all right, parting's figured it out. We have to change the balance. Like things have to happen right now because something is broken. If parting had just clobbered TY after clobbering Maru.
Okay. It's an
So you're gonna say
As for the
interesting
TVT series was really good. I think this series was really hard to call. Kier versus Innovation.
Yeah.
Like,
That was one of the best.
Kier is insane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is so hard. Innovation is just a staple of like Korean Terrans, but Kier's TVT is insane. Like all the best TVTs I can think of is always Kier versus someone. Kier versus TY or Kier versus Innovation or whatever. Like Kier brings it. I'm quite glad he actually got in. Like it'd be nice to see Innovation, but Innovation's had his time. I think it's time for Kier to finally, go to a final and finally possibly win a GSL.
about that, and I think his TVT is good, but really watching that series, so there were that should have been Innovation series. If we replay that series, Innovation wins it. I fucking promise you, because Kier got like some very lucky build order wins in there, and like
lucky, though?
just watching the play, it seemed to me like Innovation was better, even though he lost.
Are they lucky though?
Sometimes. Yes, they're lucky. Yes, when you go one base all in against someone who chose to go 3 commands off of a Marine.
What
yes,
if he knew he was going to go 3 commands off a Marine?
You can't know that. It's like you can't. No, it's
good.
No. But I don't know.
I'm with Artosis. I'm with you though.
Yeah.
I feel like that was one of those things where I watched it and I was like, oh, Kier really clutched it out. That's a really cool story. That's like, the newcomer versus the guy who's supposed to win GSLs in the past, but hasn't quite. But I feel like it was also one of those ones that's like, you got here, your story's going to end here. Like, you're just going to get beat by the guy who's calmer and more prepared.
We'll see about that.
Like, Kier's really good at TVT, but he looked shakier than Innovation did despite winning the series. I mean, I know, like, I'm not even talking about game.
Everyone looks shakier than
5?
Innovation. Innovation losing doesn't look shaky at all still, Innovation is the shake. It's the shakeless.
Yeah, if he got cheesed out in 4 games in a row by the most brutal, most abusive shit in the whole world,
he would just calmly.
He would calmly. He would probably do that serial killer upside down smile, take a sip from his Starbucks, and leave, and have zero emotion. If he won GSL, he might smile slightly wider as he raises his flowers and.
Jokes aside about him being a robot or an evil mastermind, we've seen Innovation tilted. We've seen him throw up his hands and go, "Fuck this! I'm going to T-Rex."
That's usually a Protoss or a Zerg. No,
yeah, exactly. But Innovation, I mean, I don't think that was him in this series. I just felt like Kier was very much so the young buck who's like doing like all these different things and all these chances and taking these risks, and he won, and that's fantastic. But I don't know how long that trend lasts, and I know that's kind of unfair to say because he obviously got to the finals of a GSL, which means he's been good for a while. But yeah, I was with Artosis. I agree with him.
Yeah. I think that if Cure, I feel like Cure is he absolutely has the ability to win the whole thing, but I do think that his emotions will be his downfall if he goes down to anything in the grand final, because he does seem to be very emotional and very animated. Like even historically, like Home Story Cup 20, any season of GSL he's qualified for, he's gotten to a certain point and then kind of choked, which is a little harsh to say, but Cure does start to fall apart as further he gets into a tournament. So the grand final, and that's as far as it gets. Like, how's his calm and his nerves going to be in that grand final against TY? TY is my favorite Terran in the whole world, but I still find this final kind of hard to call because it's the emotional young buck, as ZG mentioned, and it's the sort of the calm, reserved, 15-year pro gamer in TY who's been in the final before already. He has never. That's another cool thing, is that whoever wins this is going to be a new champion of GSL. That's very, very cool. But it's a hard one for me to call. Maybe slightly favoring TY, but Cure did beat him at IM Katowice when they faced each other in some very, very, very cool games. That was probably the series of the tournament at IM Katowice when they played each other, that best of 3.
That Eternal Empire game was insane. That was
just mind breaking. Yeah. And that was a LAN. So, sure, there wasn't it wasn't on stage with cameras in front of you and that sort of thing, but it was still a LAN. It's a pretty decent result. Shows they're closely matched, I think.
One thing we did look over was TY versus Dark. I forgot to mention. TY just outclassed him. It was not even close.
It was
TY was so much smarter. Like everything I thought with TY was just brilliantly played.
Him versus Dark and him versus Parting were very similar, in that TY was super ready with like a plan, and the plan worked. And when the plan works, when the plan works, you look like a god.
Yeah. I was quite surprised. I don't think I was predicting Dark to win that series, but it was way more one-sided than I thought it would be.
I was super surprised to see that 3-0. Like, TY has actually had a pretty crazy tournament so far, really. Like, I mean, he really killed Parting, even though it ended up 4-2. Like, you could tell he just kind of out-prepped him. You could tell he
really killed him.
Yeah. And the thing is, he's having a full week, and he gets to watch 7 of Cure's best TVT plays, because you don't bring anything less than your best against Innovation in the round of 4. And TY, again, for my money, and I will always say this until he retires, the smartest player in StarCraft 2. Like, he's fucking brilliant. And the thing is, I've always felt he's the strongest TVT. Look at his TVT finals against Maru. He was supposed to win that. He lost that by 1 unit in the final game.
Yeah, he was the only one that nearly, like, the year of Maru. A lot of his finals were really one-sided and shit. But the TY Maru one was the only one where it went down to the wire. I was so hyped for that final, man. I was like, yeah, Taeyang, do it. Dethrone him, go. Game 7, such a heartbreaker. My God.
TY should have brought a bag of sun chips. That was so sick.
I really see TY taking down this finals. Like a 4-2 probably. Like, Cure will peel a couple games because Cure's really good, but with that much prep and like seeing what Cure would bring against someone strong like Innovation, it's so hard for me to imagine a world in which TY can't win this finals and finally take a championship that's so well deserved.
Yeah, it'd be a really cool story, but I would still look at it like TY is the smarter, like, calmer, more mentally sound, more experienced player, blah 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 blah, and Cure just had a magic run. That's how I would look at it. Even if he was brilliant, I'd be like, oh, that was his magic run, like a Jockshi or something. Like, oh, okay, you just prepped really well. You had a magic run, and now you go back to being an online warrior. I actually really like Cure, but
that was a magic run. But that finals, he played fucking well against Leon.
When he opened that first game by sniping his overlords, that's when you're like, oh fuck. Like, oh no, this is not at all how we thought this was gonna go.
Hit and expand too. God, I like that one.
I feel so dirty.
Right, that was a miracle run.
I feel so dirty comparing Cure even jokingly to Jockshi though.
I know.
It feels terribly unfair to Cure.
I miss Jockshi now. I forgot all about him.
Cure is actually so legit. He's so good, and
he
I really, yeah. Anyway.
I would love to see the look on his face if he's like, wait a minute, the foreigner commentators were comparing me to Jockshi. He's like, fuck, what do I have to do?
Tell him that in the makeup room before he goes on stage for the final. By the way, we were comparing you to Jockshi on the Pylon show. Good luck. Cure fighting.
Okay. Jockshi might have only been known for that GSO final, but he was an okay player. It's not like I compared him to Sniper or something.
He was good. Yeah, no, he's no Sniper.
Roro.
Hey, that guy
Since-
became a great Heroes of the Storm pro.
Since the beginning of
That-
2020, Kier has played TY 27 times, and they're
Damn,
15 and 12.
that's crazy.
The one thing is like that is a lot of games to play against someone. Like in just this year alone,
thing is-
27 games with an edge, a slight edge. I think we really could go in either way right now.
I agree.
Well,
I think that slightly
I
favoring
think-
TY.
Yeah, TY doesn't care as much about the offline shit. There's been years where he didn't enter anything but GSL. Like, do you remember this? It was so funny because there'd be like all these other tournaments. He's like, nah, I'll go to BlizzCon off of just playing GSL. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts, guys? Do you have any like specific series people should check out from this GSL if they've missed?
I mean, Innovation Cure, just finished talking about it a few minutes ago, is really,
Yeah.
really wonderful. Loved it a lot.
Yeah.
TY Dark, if you want to. Actually, I liked TY Dark and TY Parting if you just want to see someone like out strategize someone and do it really, really mechanically well. If you like that kind of thing. Parting Maru, if you
Want to cry?
just want to see if you want to see the same
You want to
strategy
see the
work,
last game to really cry? Okay, it'll make you really sad if you're a Terran player. But I guess you have enough Terran representation already.
There's a few turns up there. It's yeah, I'm finding it hard to think of a series in particular because I feel like the more series is like the modern series is the ones that have just happened last week. It's just so easy to.
Yeah.
Actually, it's
Take-
ramped up
take your
really
attention.
nicely for a GSL. It went from like, nah, okay, oh, cool, oh, that's awesome. Like now we're super
Yeah.
hyped.
Yeah, I mean there was that one game, there was that one series from this Codex, of course, never forget. SOS dropping a proxy Nexus in the main of Bunny,
Oh yeah.
recalling 2 Adepts, then getting a proxy Pylon in the main that Bunny doesn't see that warps in a Dark Templar. It's yeah. If you like,
Could you
memes,
imagine pitching
way
that to
back
your
to that one.
teammates? Be like, hey guys, I got this build.
going to the
Like-
Jin Air Green Wings coach and go, guys, I've got this. Here it is.
How do they even let that happen? Like,
Do it too, that stupid fucking build. It's like, yeah, he has to deal with the 2 Adepts that I recall in, and it's going to catch him so off guard that you won't notice that I make a probe and send it to the side. It's like, that's your whole fucking game plan.
and if he notices
that's
the probe, then
fine.
what? Like,
What if he has a depot on that side of his base or something? He's like, no, I know where he puts his depots. Don't worry. There's not going to be a depot there. It's like, what? Oh. I do want to mention I tweeted out earlier. Dark Tasia was actually my favorite series of the fucking year so far. Like that was just what a play. I had so much pleasure during that series just having Tasia come back and look that good against the world
It was
champ.
fun to watch. It was fun to
Yeah.
watch. I just love TVZ, man. I think it's just always been my favorite matchup. I think it might always be.
It's most entertaining.
Yeah.
Although I'm starting to miss ZVZ finals. Where are they?
All right.
You know what? I'm good.
Really?
I'm good.
Yeah, I
actually,
think we're all right.
didn't think that Dark Tasia series was that good.
Well,
I
I
hate
think
it.
we got that
I think-
impression from you.
You hate everything
earlier,
happening here. My God. Kate's party, Tasia Dark was terrible. This guy.
No, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought Tasia did really well. I just thought Dark did. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay. Any other thoughts about GSL before we jump over to the qualifiers?
It's really fucking awesome, and I can't wait for the final.
Yeah, the finals are gonna be awesome. Let's do a viewing party.
Hell yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
I'm gonna whiskey up.
Finals, I want to say that they're tomorrow at 5 p.m. KST. So
For
like
you, yeah.
yeah,
Six,
so
It's not
Said-
Thursday. I'm like, but the Pylon show's on Thursday, Artosis. That means the final will be on Friday. And I'm like, no, the
No, I
Pylon
know.
show's on Friday today.
it's a weird one this week.
Yeah.
You guys are in weird time zones, although I am the
Chemistry
minority
is right.
right
It's crazy.
now.
But yeah, it'll be like for that regular day, I think 4 hours later than we normally start Codas. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that's
look
gonna be
this
good, and
up.
that's gonna be in the new studio, kind of a nicer looking stage and stuff. So that'll be
Ooh.
Oh
Very
no,
nice.
wait, I can't wait, no.
Hmm?
Oh, I can't watch it. Oh, it feels bad.
Why? What's
Why
your
can't you
excuse?
watch it?
Well, I have to cast TSL like hours after. Right?
That sounds perfect. So you just cast it and then
Yeah,
you
so
watch
you get
the
up
recap.
early.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
Saturday morning. I'm good. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll let Wardy and Rowdy cast. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. Back
Alright.
onto the viewer party.
Cool. All right.
And we're back.
Yes, it's 1 day, 5 hours, 54 minutes from now, as highlighted on our screen. Okay. Let's talk about GSL Season 2 qualifiers some. NoRegreT, I know you were following this. There was no streams going on, right? For this? Yeah, hopefully some of those replays can come out and get streamed a bit. But we had some interesting results, I would say. Let's put some of those brackets up. So first group, Sue and Dark advance. As far as big names in that group,
That group was a tragedy. Okay. That group
Yeah,
was a tragedy for Australia.
Estrella, like, I mean, he beat everyone else, but lost 2-1 to Dark and then 2-0 to Dark in the qualifying match.
He played till 10 p.m., which it starts at 5:30. He played a 35-minute long game for his final game against Dark.
Damn.
Like it was a tragedy. He played a 25-minute game against Percival. Like he was like a Villo of this qualifier. The games were so long. He played so late. He felt it pretty hard, but he really had a sick results. Like he took down Hurricane. He took down a bunch of other people. Let me check. But yeah, Creator's really good in PvP. I mean, like I'm quite looking forward to him playing today. I think he's got what it takes for sure.
Yeah. Kind of
But yeah, tragedy for him. Getting Dark and Sue. Like what a group.
Well, when you only lose to the world champion and the only Zerg that made the round of 8 in GSL, I think it's not that bad result for sure. Group 2, we had SOS and Solar advance. SOS beat Bomber in that final match, and then Solar came back and beat Bomber in that final match. Dream didn't do too well in that group, huh?
Yeah, Dream's kind of fallen off a bit, which is really heartbreaking because he was kind of the guy I'd love to talk about as like the best performing player that came back from the military, which he was, and maybe he still is. But it's like, well, actually, it's DRG now, I suppose. But but Dream was my boy for a while. I was flying his flag.
Yeah.
I still will, but at the moment, it's hard to make a case for him being like a top contender for, great Terrans.
Yeah, he looked pretty good in his GSL group. I mean, obviously that didn't work out. Ragnarok and Parting got out of that group, but I mean, his games were looking pretty strong. But he kind of fell flat in his face here. Like the thing is, losing to SOS is not that big a deal, right? And losing to Solar, I mean, those are
those are people that he won't usually beat. Like, he'll play them in Elima leagues, especially Solar, quite often, and usually loses. Yeah.
We talk about Chance 2-0ing Solar. Like I didn't see those games, but what a result!
Yeah,
that's a pretty huge upset. I mean, Chance, 63-6200 versus Solar.
Jake, you wanted Zergs in GSL? I think you got him, man.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll go extinct in the first round of.
Is Chance still at your team house?
He is not, but yeah, he stayed with us for quite a long time.
Yeah,
I'm happy to see him do something. At least that's a decent result as is. Also, I think Zaun is a pretty good player coming up, so it's nice to see him take down Zaun too. I think he's always been a little bit hard in the PvT, so not too surprising if he goes down to Terran. He actually gets retaken out by Solar, but that's not too surprising, I guess.
No. Yeah, kind of losing to the people who end up winning, not too bad. Group 3, we had Rogue and Deer advance. Looks like they met in the first finals, and then Deer beat
Tough
Armani.
Group. Really good players. NoRegreT, Rogue, Armani.
Hey, NoRegreT, Rogue. I guess that's it.
NoRegreT 0-2 against Deer.
So this was a tragedy for me. Okay, I talked about this with Alessandra before. So I play against a guy named Tempo, right? And I'm like, okay, never heard of this person before. Very strange. Click their profile, 4,900 Protoss. I'm like, okay, got this in the bag. Load up into game 1. I go for like an early pull, and an SCV comes out of nowhere. I'm like, what? He's a Terran player? And this guy's insane. He's really good. I'm like, well, there's no way. Like, I thought I'm playing this guy's off race. He's a 4,900 Protoss. This is insane. And then I get out of the series. I lose 0-2 because the first game was a throw. The second game was pretty okay. He was just better than me. And it was Natural. I'm like, what? Natural switched his name and played only Protoss on this account. So I was so sad. I wish game 1 wasn't like just thrown, but game 2 he definitely just outplayed me. There's nothing too special about it. But so Tempo is Natural, guys, just so you know.
Okay. I mean, Natural's very good. I'm confused though. That's not what the bracket says.
It does. I go 0-2 to Deer, then go down to Tempo.
And the LB.
I don't think you see it if you're looking at the Wikipedia because
it's not on Wikipedia.
Earlier.
No, I'm looking at the challenge.
Yeah, like, you're not good enough to be in the bracket, I guess.
The Wikipedia cuts off a lot of it. So, but
yeah.
I guess it's kind of smart, like to do that. but you know, it felt a little scummy, little heart. But
Really wish
but I
there
guess I
was-
should have just paid more attention.
Really wish there was some Passion Lord at the LAN
I'm
cafe.
gonna sign up as a barcode next time.
It was online though this time again.
Yeah, it was
So-
online.
Oh, it was online. Okay. Yeah, I just wish that someone was broadcasting these games, man.
It's not because there's
know.
not passionate people. It's because Afrika doesn't respond.
True.
Well, it's in Africa's
I
best
didn't know the
interest that it would be
reason.
streamed on Africa, I guess. There's also some complications
who
with it. I
are-
don't know.
People who
Or
are offering
YouTube.
a cast are willing to do it on Afrika.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're
definitely
vetted is another question.
It's a
But...
complicated topic.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
but I'm just saying, like, as if there aren't not billions, as if there's not dozens of us
Literally done.
Billions
that
of casters.
don't want to
Of houses.
cast, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's something NoRegreT has to go through semi-regularly here, trying to get this shit done.
Yeah.
Kind of
Alright.
gave up, I guess, this season.
Are you playing again today? The second ones are today,
Yeah.
right?
I will be playing again. I'm not in
Oh.
great form, but it's more of like a matchup of like players and races for me. Like
Mhm.
I can beat players that are way better than me, but I can also lose to players worse than me depending on the matchup of how they play and what race they play.
Mm.
Like my versus Protoss is extremely versatile, and I have a wide array of builds that can work against almost anybody. But my versus Terran is quite limited but strong, so it's like I don't know. If I get a really good player, they'll just 2-0 me
Mm.
because I've got a small array of games. And then if it's a Zerg, it's on. I can take anybody down. I don't care who you are. Dark, rogue, anybody. You're having a knife fight in a gutter, you know, in a sewer
Yeah.
to get
sure.
those points.
Good luck on that. Let's look at Group 4. We have Maru and Special advancing. Like Zest was in both the qualifying matches, losing 2-0 to Maru and 2-1 to Special.
Yeah,
Pretty
crazy. Crazy for Zest to not get through. So didn't expect that. So, congrats to Juanito. A good final on the list.
Special in the previous bracket. So look at that. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Special started saving scans and making turrets early.
Yeah. That's my guess.
Maybe Special never moved out. He just sat there and waited for Zest to come to him.
By the way, this is like the first time I've seen Maru play in a qualifier in so long. Like
Yeah.
he just
Yeah,
always has
that's true.
seeds
I didn't
into
think
it.
about that.
Like, I can't even remember the last time.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
so
him.
funny.
He definitely plays in them, but it's just so rare. Maru and Dark are playing in it. It's like both these
That's
players I
crazy.
literally never see in the
Yeah.
qualifiers.
Out in the round of 8. That's now that you bring that up that they had to play in qualifiers, I'm like, oh my god, they're one of us now.
One of the plebs.
One of the
You
players.
kind of feel for the other people in there because look at that. Maru just eases through the bracket, just goes 6-0.
Yeah, it doesn't lose the map.
Like,
Yeah.
he's done before lunchtime. He's like, okay, that
Yeah, he
People
probably
complain
goes out to like
qualifiers.
get a snack afterwards. No celebration or anything. Like, so sad. Could have made someone's like year.
That's crazy though, Zest not making it through. Congrats to Special on that.
Hmm.
Let's look at Group 5. Scarlett and Stats advance. Scarlett in first place here, knocking out Bunny and Impact on the way. Impact who knocked out Stats, but then lost to him in the rematch.
The stars aligned for Sasha in this group, by the way. Like, she got a seed
Yeah.
all the way to the round of 4 in the winners. She only had to play 4 games. 4 games.
Yeah, no, and
or 5
it's
games, I
not
guess,
like,
or 6.
I mean, I
It's
know
not that many, though.
Bunny and Impact are very good, but they're like absolutely people Scarlett can beat.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like
Like when you
she
compare
was-
it to like Dark and Sue or, you know, like some of these
Yeah,
other groups,
yeah.
like
I'd
Bunny
say it's
Impact
a
is definitely-
conspiracy, but some guy
It's
named
conspiracy.
Omni also got a buy. So
Omni.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
It's,
Impact. I heard the Impact series was very funny. Also, I heard the Bunny series was really funny from Sasha, but who knows?
Okay.
I was
think-
calling
I
it as
think-
this the season she was going to pleb it up with the day 2 because she's not like on perfect form, and there was going to be a lot of harder players in the groups like Maru and you know, Dark and Rogue, but yeah, she still did it. The way it works, I guess, is she's seed 2 here, so she's supposed to be the second best player, I think, or that's what she said.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she is. The way that seeded works, Stats and Sasha are across
Stats
from
number
each
1,
other.
right?
Mhm.
Mm.
So
That makes sense. It's cool to see
Interesting.
Stats get through. I'm very happy with that. I mean, but and I looked at the results before I looked at the actual runs. So I was like, oh, Stats and Scarlett, cool. And then I looked at the bracket. I'm like, oh, if Stats doesn't get out of this one, I'd be extremely surprised. So, you know,
Well,
Kind of expected.
Yeah, I would say so. Impact and Bunny are people who are like, yeah, they'll probably make it in, but more often than not, round of 32, 24, whatever. That bottom kind of thing. Group 6. This is the one that kind of, when I saw this, I was like,
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
a
Trap.
clown fiesta of a group, okay?
Also, what the
Clown
fuck is
fiesta? You don't love fun. You don't like StarCraft. You don't like
This is a
fun.
clown fiesta, okay?
What
Let's
the
be
fuck is
real
this?
here.
Like, what is
Guys,
this round of 4? What is this round of 4 in the winners bracket, by the way?
Fiesta. What is going on?
How do the admins allow this round of 4 match between Barcode and Barcode? How do they allow that?
Yeah, I agree. It's a clown fiesta,
How
guys.
do the admins
Well, that's
just
why I
like,
use
yeah, fuck
TeamLiquid.
You
it.
know what doesn't even make any sense? They're using the Korean name. Every Korean knows who they are.
Yes,
It just messes with the foreigners a little bit.
Fuck,
and we
man.
can Google. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
The
Imagine
top
it was like
4 of that bracket is old school, by the way.
Clown Fiesta.
Clown
Yes.
Fiesta, old school. Curious, I didn't even realize was
Just
still
Trap
playing.
just showed up and went 0-4. Like, what?
Came back. I'm not sure which one happened. Yeah. This is a very, very odd
Can
bracket.
you imagine that ride home? The fucking your coach is like, wait, no, I guess you're playing from home. I was gonna say though, I could imagine the ride. You're like, so I have to drive back here tomorrow because you went 0-2 against Billowy.
I mean, that's a massive shock to not see Trap just dumpster this group. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's a
Billowy-
big story, I guess.
Billowy's the guy. No, that actually makes some sense. Like Billowy's always the guy that gets through in qualifiers or like around at 32 because of PvP. Like him and one other Protoss always do that.
When was the last time
Okay.
you saw
then-
Billowy in a
but then-
Codas?
But then you look at
I don't think so, but I think he's taken out people in the qualifiers with PvP.
No, Billowy's the number one guy that Rotterdam teases me about because I had this because like there was
'Cause you
this
say that he's
little
good,
thread
yeah.
where Billowy was like cure in Olima leagues and stuff, right? And that's my jive. It was always like watching Olima leagues and like I was like, guys, you watch this. Billowy's a fucking badass. He's so good right now. He could get top 4 this season. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh
And
no!
then the game, like all his games were really close, and then he lost and went out of GSL Codes really quick. And Roddy still gives me shit to this day about that. But it's good to see him back, almost beating Curious.
Curious, the fill-in commentator because TY won't stop winning. Yeah, yeah.
I
All
actually
right.
played Curious last season, and I thought he played really well. Like I was expecting to just bop him because I haven't seen him in so long, but he was just playing very intelligently and very like precise. I kind of felt like he would do really well the next season if he practiced straight through. And I mean, DRG is someone we talk up. So, and he also took down Ragnarok, I want to say. Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's a
eventually,
pretty impressive
yeah.
ZVZ. I don't know
I
about
mean-
Billowy, but
I feel like Trap rolled Snake Eyes, dude. Like losing the winners bracket, then you go, it's okay, it's the losers bracket, and then he gets Ragnarok, who was absolutely someone that can beat Trap.
Yeah.
Like the
Ragnarok-
only other person I feel that could beat Trap in DRG, of course, maybe as well. Just a strong Zerg seems to be the Achilles heel of Trap.
yeah.
Poor guy, poor Gemini.
That is kind of such a weird. I guess it is a little bit of a clown fiesta looking at the bracket now.
Now you're on my side, huh?
I mean, if you just show me the list of names, I'm like, well, Trap clearly wins, and then it's probably Ragnarok, right? Like realistically, this guy should be coming out of the group.
Yeah.
This is going to be a crazy day for the
So
qualifiers.
day
actually.
2 is actually different format. It's been a different. It's always been the same, but today is different. I don't know why. Basically, the way it works is there will be 4 groups with 8 people advancing, and I don't know if anyone knows this because it's just in the email for GSL players. 4 groups, 8 players advance, so 2 players from each group. Then the third through 6th player of each group will have a second chance, with 2 groups of 4 people advancing, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. No, I like
So-
that though because
That should
otherwise, like,
ensure. That should ensure that everyone good will 100% get in. I don't see how you could mess up like 5 different chances of getting in.
well, at that point you don't deserve to be in, really. But
Yeah.
that makes sense though when you have people like Zest and Trap and Ragnarok coming back for the next day.
Yeah.
It's like, what if they were in the same group? Suddenly you're like, oh, that's fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
what makes that.
There's also a lot of like luck groups where you look at it and you're like, wow, this group is just way weaker.
Yeah.
And that should hopefully prevent a lot of luck groups because there's less people advancing, right?
Mhm.
So the groups will be a little bit more stacked for the first round, and then the second round will be a little bit less stacked. I don't know. I
Mhm.
think overall this is a more fair way of doing it, but this is the first time I've seen this format. So also there
I
are going to be
think it
some
makes
placement
sense.
matches for EPT points. So I guess everyone gets EPT points if you're 3rd through 6th.
Nice.
Interesting.
The Koreans clearly don't give a shit though about the EPT points, but they'll just be like,
No, they really
They'd be like-
don't.
it's like,
Well,
but
when
you
you
get,
look at-
after this qualifier, you get a lollipop. Like it's one of those things. I'm like, oh, all right.
I bet everyone's just going to forfeit their EPT points placement matches. I'll call it right now. No one's going to stick around for
they
those.
are like
You're
specifically
they're
the Koreans
out?
are notorious for forfeiting a tournament that they don't give a shit about. Like they'll get knocked to the losers bracket and go, all right, I'm out. Like, happens a lot.
As soon as they're out of the tournament for GSL, they're definitely just leaving. But
Which is
It's a
funny,
shame, man.
you know
They're
still
actually
sitting on
fucking
their
up.
computer.
Honestly, they're
Like,
fucking
no, I'd
up.
rather play a ladder game than this. It's like, what? It's practice.
they like
either
load
way.
up YouTube or something. You're like, I'd rather
Like,
watch a YouTuber.
I promise you guys, these Koreans, they're fucking up, and they will wish that they cared more about these points later on in the year, for sure.
There's going to be, like, in both regions, there's going to be someone that just doesn't make it because of EPT points. And we're
Correct,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Absolutely.
look at that. Look at that. And then we're going to have a little gif of
And
Apollo
it'll be
going
like, yeah, it'll be like, I'm like, woulda, shoulda, coulda.
I can very much so
Yeah.
imagine one of those Koreans just like counting up GSL like only points, right? For the points they got from that and being like, "Oh, I'm in," and then someone's like, "Oh, but Zest had like 500 extra EPT points," and they're like,
Oh. I think 2021, after everything rounds out, 2021, we might see a little bit more populated EPT Asia brackets, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
My guess after this year, when they finally realize.
I think you're right. Okay, well, that's GSL qualifiers. We'll have the rest of those tonight. Right? It starts at like 5 p.m. or something, Jake?
Yep. 5:30.
Watch them anyways, so I'll just be spamming refresh on the Wikipedia page. When realistically, that should be on the
Good luck,
calendar.
Jake. Good luck, Jake. You got this.
Good
Thanks.
Get her
I'll work
done.
on it. I got
Well,
the
it's funny.
builds.
Like, all the good Terrans already made it through, so you've actually got this kind of
Mm.
nice.
Hell yeah.
I'm scared of the bad Terrans too, though.
That's
I just need to dodge all the Terrans.
yeah. Rookie's
Well,
gonna
you got-
get you.
Rookie will get me if I get him. I promise you right now. We're gonna be in another Pylon like, oh look, Rookie took out NoRegreT. You're like, oh, remember this happened. This conversation happened.
Yeah.
Rookie will take me out.
Maybe you should play a different race next time you hit Terran.
I should be playing Protoss realistically. My playstyle is just favored in that
Yeah.
playstyle. I could be like North American Haas or SOS.
So you could be a North American player, is what you're saying.
I could be, yes.
Excellent.
But like actually good.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow.
caveat
Shots fired. Shots fired. Wow.
there. Wow.
Okay. Well, that was kind of our 3 topics. Look at
That was good. Yeah.
It's fun. It's good. It's good. Getting back into the roll of things with the Pylon Show. I guess we're going to jump over to the Patreon questions, right? Unless you guys have anything else you want to bring up before we go.
Yeah.
How about the 1400 shield battery? 1400 health shield battery.
Oh, the patch. Yeah, we haven't talked about the patch.
Sure. Talk to us. What do you think
okay,
about the
so-
chip battery? You're going to get a Baneling bust through again? Is that ever going to
Well,
happen?
I don't even think it helps against that stuff though. Like if you could detonate all your banelings at once, it doesn't matter if you can heal 1400 HP.
One thing that I think is going to affect your Baneling busts, NoRegreT, is that I believe the Baneling change is going to do less damage to Stalkers still than they already do.
But that's only
Yeah.
on centrifugal, right? Which I never get, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, fair enough.
The game's already over by then.
Fair enough.
The only thing that could really affect me is the battery, but I'm not 100% sure it will even affect me, depending on what builds I do. I don't know. I just feel like it's a really weird change. It doesn't feel like it doesn't address much of our issues. I don't know. I feel like it'll be a bigger change against Terran, maybe. We'll see.
It does.
Oh,
still
the
feel-
PvP. I guess that's the whole point, is to make
That's the whole
PvP
point
less
is, yeah,
immortally.
PvP.
Mhm.
Well, the whole
I
point
think
is to
T-Robo
allow a
stuff.
Nexus to be a default opener.
But you already kind of see that, though. I don't know. I feel like
Well,
I've seen tons
I
of
don't-
people getting away with Nexi.
There's no safe
There's a lot of
opener in
proxies, I
PvP
guess.
is the
Yeah.
thing.
Everything is a
Yeah.
gamble with PvP. Is the
Yeah.
problem. That's
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
they've identified the issue. As far as actually having the correct solution, that's the whole conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the correct solution. It also
Yeah.
does weird things in the other matchups,
I
which I
didn't want
have
to sound
not yet
dumb.
realized yet. But
Didn't want to sound dumb, but I'm pretty sure that bailing change is not on centrifugal hooks. It's on across the board for not upgraded bailings as well.
I
Okay,
was
well-
looking for a link. I didn't find one. So.
I don't know
No
if that's the
regret.
case.
Now
That
it's
would be
changed
very
Valorant.
that would be very disappointing for me.
thank
They
you,
nerfed
Cobra.
me specifically.
Creep,
I don't know if that's the
Baneling,
case.
new change,
Right.
Baneling weapon damage change. It just says Baneling weapon damage, so it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
so probably
so
then.
it is just bailings.
Rest in
Damn.
peace.
Rest in
Sorry
peace, no regret.
Guess I'm
Sorry,
going to
mate.
make Ravagers. They finally
Oh,
made
you're
me
gonna
do it,
one of
guys.
those Zergs now. Those Zergs are so much easier to deal with.
Yeah, but those
Well,
Zergs are so
make
much
those
more
two
boring
Ravagers.
too. I just want to do
Yeah,
something fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also think the Terran changes are going to be quite scary. I really don't think we need patches
does-
for Terran right now. Like
Yeah,
the
it
meta
does
is
seem
still
like-
shifting, and the Terran players are like coming. They're
Yeah.
getting stronger and stronger.
It does seem like it's still
Yeah.
it like they it's like way back when they first threw out the first wave, the first draft of these patches, they were like, ZVT seems to be in a good spot. We need to address ZVP. And then they did a bunch of changes and it was like, this really affects ZVT. and then
Yeah.
and then the next wave of change, like this, the part 2 of these changes, the second draft, still kind of affects CVT a lot.
Yeah, it does. It affects CVT a ton.
So, I mean, obviously the Nexus overcharge is completely different, but the Baneling change, the Terran changes, just seem
Terran's
to
being more
make Terran
streamlined.
stronger.
I really feel like it's quite scary to do this because Terran definitely seems to be doing quite well, especially people like Clem, which are just clobbering people. I would like to see them. Like, I'm not saying that I'd be completely against a nerf to Zerg and ZVT, but I'd like to see it play out a bit more. I don't know if we've had enough time yet because it does seem to be kind of turmoil like right now. Wouldn't say Zerg just demolishes everybody right now against Terran specifically.
No,
Certainly
definitely not.
does not.
I don't know. I think if this
Oh,
patch goes through, we'll see Zerg extinct for a couple seasons, and then they'll probably roll it back.
They had 2019 and 2018. Let's
The year of TVTs.
That's the
Gum
best years.
TVT. Bring it
We
back,
got to
yeah.
go back. I mean,
2011,
every-
baby.
Well, actually, it will be.
Back to the
2011.
future.
You got
Is there
TSL
an
back,
announced
Terrans on top again.
date? Do you guys know? For
For the balance?
Yeah.
No.
Patch?
That makes
I
me think
think-
they're gonna roll it back. By the way,
Well, they might.
They might. I mean, I still would not be super shocked to see another tweak before before it goes live. I think with maybe like the climate of the world right now, that a lot of people that have been like trying to release games and patches in general have been just taking a break. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
They're
I
working
have
on
seen a
other
lot of game
things right
companies
now.
pull back. Okay, yeah, I have seen a lot of like game companies
StarCraft
just pull back from
reconfirmed?
releases and stuff.
you heard it from Zombie Grub.
Sure.
Ah,
Right
if you want
here.
to pick up that from what I'm saying, then yes.
That's what she was going to say earlier. That was tweeted out. And
StarCraft 3 and Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 3 remaster, as well as Half-Life 3 are all coming out at the same time.
yeah,
It's gonna be a lit
StarCraft 2
week.
Remastered's coming soon.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I'd love to see is map stats because I feel like the maps are really playing into the matchups right now. Like certain maps feel really strong for Terran, certain maps feel really strong for Zerg. Like, I'm wondering if the maps should be changed a bit more. I wish we would see a little bit more funky maps, but not at the same time. You know what I mean? I'd love to not see any funky maps, but I'd also love to see funky maps.
I think the current map pool seems pretty good.
I like it, yeah.
I like that they took out Purity because that was that was going to be really
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone liked Purity. Like,
Well, it didn't really
I don't know
get
how
as
that's even
much.
possible.
It's not really hated though, is my impression. It's like people
Definitely
don't
hated
choose
amongst
it,
the Zergs. The Zergs hate it.
but people
Well,
don't choose it. It's an uncomfortable
don't-
map in
don't play on it,
general.
yeah.
But it's just I don't really hear people saying like this is going to be the worst thing ever. Where some other maps have definitely gone from this is going to be the worst thing ever to oh I guess it's okay or oh it's
Yeah.
okay oh no this is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I feel like the last 2 or 3 map pools, even like specifically the last 3 maybe. I'm just trying to remember what it was, but have actually been quite decent.
Yeah, with
Like,
some
not,
new
not too many
things.
complaints. There's there's always going to be complaints, but it's like the most of the pros and,
We
and
haven't-
players are just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we haven't been at a point where in a best of 5, I feel like people were like memeing in chat, like, well, I only have one, so like, what terrible map do I actually have to play on? Like, usually, yeah, they just veto Purity and Industry, and they and usually it's like both of them are like, yep, I don't want to play on either.
And the next map
All right,
looks
let's
pretty
go.
good as well. Like Death Aura is a pretty cool map, and the submarine map looks good.
I'm kind of scared of the new
Frozen
maps.
You
I'm
scared
not
of them?
100% sure on some of them. Like, I need to play games on them to really tell, but I'm just looking at things. I'm like, oh, I don't like how they can siege up this place. I don't know about lib spots here, you know, like that kind of stuff. But I only
I'm interested
really
to see some
realize
battle.
it. Like the first week, I think me and Artosis have talked about this. The first week, Terran is dominant. They reign supreme. They find all those little nooks and crannies, and they just pop
Yeah.
everybody for the first week.
They
So I
find
can't
all
figure
the
out.
spots. That's what
Win
it's
map
all
test
about.
tournaments. Yeah.
I can't wait to see a battle inside of an acceleration zone in the middle of Death Aura.
Oh
by
yeah,
the way.
there's acceleration zones.
Like watch Ling
That's-
Vane just trying to
that's
fight in
more
the middle of a.
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing that we have. Actually, we should. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the maps. Let's get them on screen. Matt is already pulling some of them up, but let's start with the top one, Death Aura, and just talk about it for a moment.
That's another
Um,
Maris map. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. I cast a couple games on it, just like viewers sending me in replays, like subscriber replays. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool. It looked really good. Had a couple of really fun games on it. It's not like super feature laden, apart from the fact that it has the acceleration zones and a couple good siege locations.
Double yield high gas. Double high yield gas sounds weird to me.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like
a really
equivalent
hard
of-
base. to
Imagine
make,
there's 4 gas geysers there that you don't even need as many drones to mine out of. That's basically what that is. So
yeah,
that's a little
yeah.
weird to me.
How
Yeah,
many
like 6
Raptors
gases
can you
would have been
truly make off of 18 drones?
I believe the
Are we
answer
going to
is
see that taken as a
possibilities.
natural?
I'm seeing the possibilities of going hatch first there and just double gassing those and going
Yeah, like,
Ravagers.
I
No
feel like
way.
I can't wait to see Bly play on this map. Just be like,
You could
yeah,
build
this may.
you can build a Roche Worm without gas. That's all I'm saying. So we could have some
Mhm.
builds where you go hatch first to the gold or that high yield double gas, and then you have infinite gas forever.
You know, I'm sick of these late game Terran games where they have 3K gas bank, and I want them to have 6K gas bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that 9K, 12K gas bank for their Ravens?
And then they
I
stop
guess?
mining gas entirely and forget, and then they can't make a Marauder, and they're like, oh no.
Why are we against gold bases, by the way? Is that like
Because of
definitely
you,
just
NoRegreT.
imbalanced?
Gold bases
Because high
are
yield gases are kind of imbalanced too, no?
I mean, yeah,
well,
they
high
make
yield
things weird.
we haven't played with as much, right? It increases Ravager all-ins and stuff. So, but the gold minerals we already fucking know. We figured that out years and years ago.
We
that
still
Zerg-
have maps with it.
2011, yeah.
Golden Wall has a gold base.
I
Yeah.
keep, I've had a lot of map makers on the show. I've said this publicly so many fucking times. This is free for you guys. You want to win the TeamLiquid map competition? A gold base with fucking bubulas on it. Okay, you make it. It's all mining, it's all minerals. There's nothing more interesting than that.
That's
For
pretty
the
funny
plebs
idea.
out there in chat that don't know what a bubula is, you don't watch GSL. He's talking about an inhibitor zone, a slow
Wait,
zone.
Yeah.
What if we put
everything moves.
acceleration zone on a regular mineral patch?
Yes, that too. A map with only
no.
those 2 types of bases. You have to figure out which is better. That's a great
Hey,
idea.
no regret.
And it's like
no regret.
wait, it's
You
like your
already
main
hate-
base. It's your main base, and it goes down to both of them. So you have the high yield, and you with the slow zone, and the normal
So-
with the speed zone.
I happen
You
to
know,
know
so
that
you have
you
to
hate
take a
dealing.
natural expansion. What?
You hate dealing with liberators, right? Imagine a
I do.
liberator in a fast zone, an acceleration zone.
You could run away
Just like
fast though.
sieging, unsieging, and it's just like.
Oh, does it make your siege
It makes
mode
everything
faster,
faster.
too?
It makes everything faster.
Wait, if I morph a baneling in it, will it morph faster?
No,
Oh no, that I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
That would be so sick.
That'd be so terrifying. Imagine like you see them morphing and you're like, oh, I can jump on top of that.
I
And they
got
morph for like
time,
2
yeah.
seconds.
Oh my God.
That'd be amazing.
Stay there and get your +1 attack like that. That would be amazing.
Oh my god. That's the strats, man. Put something that accelerates every single like anything, like a building or a cocoon,
Yeah.
and, like,
According-
in the middle, and
according
like
to-
proxy barracks there.
According to Liquipedia, it is just movement, so it wouldn't unsiege faster. It would just run away,
Okay.
run in faster. So
That would
Yeah,
be
we could run away from liberators faster then. That'd be nice.
yeah, that's actually better for Zerg then.
Yeah, that'd be a buff.
Cool, let's bring him in.
I love these.
Or what about the
ideas.
Reaper? The Reaper would just like be lightning fast across the. You would.
Yeah. So
I guess
would
the
the
chasing
Zerglings.
link would. Yeah. This would be weird. I wish we'd mess around with this kind of stuff more, even if it turns out it's just imba.
Yeah.
Even
And the
though
server actually gives you really interesting games too. Let's not forget that. I know pro gamers
Yeah.
hate it, but like it actually does make the
Well-
game super cool.
One of the things that has really been, I don't know why it's a problem, I don't want me to start a controversy or anything like that.
Oh,
but
here we go.
Oh.
As a
Let me get my
StarCraft
popcorn.
2 community, all of us share the same maps except GSL, who has one unique map. When's the last time you saw like a actually prestigious tournament that was like, we're gonna have 3 different maps, and we're gonna try this out and be unique because of that? That doesn't happen anymore. I don't remember the last time it was really happened commonly. Whereas before, you would at least have people have to decide between ladder edition and tournament edition. You know, can you spawn next to each other or can't you? There hasn't been many.
Every single player hated that, by the way.
Oh, I know.
I was fine with it, but
at least
every
it
player
created
hated
some
it.
type of diversity, right? You'd be like an MLG, like, oh my god, that's right, they can spawn right next to each other. As opposed to IAM, where it was more balanced. Like, we don't really have that anymore. So when you say, like, you know, I wish we'd test these things. Well, you can't, because if it's tested and liked for the first week and they're like, oh, okay, we'll put it in the map pool. 3 months, every tournament. Like, no one wants that. So
Do you
that's one of the
remember,
problems.
was it Shoutcraft Clan Wars? Shoutcraft was one of those things where there was these crazy maps. Like, they had lava raising, there's bridge maps where you could, like, break bridges and they would collapse. There was one map that had a turret that did 300 damage and had 20 ranged if you controlled it. Or it was even more than that. You could, like, I remember setting a Zergling there and shelling my Protoss gateway, like, in the wall and link flooding them. It did, like, it literally 3-shot at the gateway or something. It was insane.
One,
Like, oh my god, I don't
a
remember
Terran
this at
player
all.
didn't.
Bad use map.
Yeah, the Terran player didn't know that the missile turrets were like actually active, so he flew over what was supposed to be kind of like a neutral zone with like 6 medevacs. I remember that. That was like
I think that was
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Maybe.
It was a long time at this point.
It's crazy. Like, there's so much possibility, though. I'd like to see more. Just screw the players. Just for the viewers.
Fuck everyone that plays.
Let's just have a
Yeah,
Twitch
just
chat
screw players,
interactive
man.
where we can just, like, Twitch chat can nuke things. I don't know. Let's just do whatever.
Actually, I know a lot of people love that shit, but I actually hate that shit. Like, I remember, like, even for TSL, a tournament that I love, I was watching that free for all where TLO had, like, not free for all, but whatever it was like TLO had powers to send, like, god power things in.
Oh, Trousless Alnaga.
Yeah.
That's what Day9 did, actually, but yeah.
So this thing was happening, and TLO had the ability to send in nukes and like stasis boards and stuff like that. And I watched it for a few minutes. I'm just like, oh, okay, fast forward, skip to the next. Like, when's the game start again? I just don't. I don't know. That weirdness just turns me off a little bit.
Yeah, it gets too weird
because
like that. I don't like it.
There's also, like, I feel like a lot of it has to do with execution. Yeah, that's what I'll say. A lot of it has to do with execution, because I remember Trials of the Zelnaga. That was something that happened like 2010 or something like that. It was amazing. It was so fun. I think, like, chat even got involved. It was extremely complex, and there's a reason they never did it again. But, like, that was extremely fun. But the execution was great. You had, you know, casters who were totally taking it, like, non-seriously. It was still kind of prestigious because it was one of the few first tournaments in... And by first tournaments in StarCraft, you know what I mean? Like, in 10 years of StarCraft, the first year was a very small amount of time. And it felt fun. But now it seems like whenever someone says, let's do something really unique and fun and different, you're like, okay, like, you know, all right. Like,
yeah, no, I'm
instance.
absolutely a part of the problem, for sure.
Well, no, I'm not saying I am partially blaming us for being sticks in the mud sometimes, but I'm also saying that even as much as people in chat are like, yes, TeamLiquid, that sounds amazing, that's awesome, the execution isn't really there because the prestige and the money and the setting doesn't really make it that great of a tournament, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't ever have Pro League again, no matter how much you guys think you like Team Leagues.
Yeah,
Think you like it, but you don't.
People get very vocal about what they like, and then it doesn't show up as far as actual hype, actual excitement, and it doesn't
on the
like,
smaller on the smaller scale. Like, even I find this. I've had this conversation many times with, like, ZG and others. Is that, like, people always say, "Oh, you guys should do team games together. Do this, do that. Do team games. Do this." And then you do them, and no one watches it. No one gives a shit. Like, it's just it's like people think they want it. Like ZG mentioned, the execution has to be there as well. There has to be prestige, has to be hype, has to be something like some X factor about it. It can't just be a team league.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe we'll get one day.
Well, the thing is, even with team leagues, it's just, I mean, technically people are on the same team. You feel like they're teammates.
No. It's so funny. People will be like, I guess they're on the same team, and then, like, it means nothing.
Yeah. It's can you guys name everyone that's on Dragon Phoenix Gaming?
Solar.
Cure and Parting feel like teammates to you?
Yeah.
Not really. Not really.
I mean,
Solar was
StarCraft
not on that
tournaments
team
in
either.
Thailand, man,
Solar
there
was
can
on
only be one.
TSG.
So, yeah,
That's
but, yeah.
I
Who's the Chinese player
I
on
am
that
willing to admit. Yes, I did not know.
team? No one knows.
I don't know that either.
Although I feel like if you asked me certain players on like back in the day, you like asked me who's on SKT back then, you know, like I would be able to list off a ton of people that were super like symbolic of that team.
Of course,
You know?
yeah.
They were a team is the thing. It's like just
Yeah.
because you're the same sponsor doesn't really mean that your teammates that help each other and are
Mhm.
close are
I
doing
mean,
working
Jeunesse still has that. They still feel like
Yeah.
Yeah.
they
a squad. A unit.
feel like a team.
It's weird that Kier left Generic. It's just like
Weird that he
Not a
was
part
the
of
one
that
that wasn't
entity anymore.
invited back. Like creator left, and then they were like, actually come back.
I think
And you're like,
Yeah.
from what I understand, Cure got a really good deal from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, and it was
Yeah.
just better for him. So that's why he went, which makes sense.
makes
And I'm
sense,
sure
yeah.
the Jeanette people would be like, they'd be like, oh, you know, salute, power to you, good luck,
that
Yeah.
dollar.
dollar, badala.
All right, let's quickly jump into these other maps. Next one is Ice and Chrome. Ice and Chrome.
This
Any
map
thoughts?
definitely turns me off. Like,
Why is that?
well, there's like these areas around the third base, like this low ground ramp where siege tanks can be. There's a choke in the middle, like choke is all over the middle of the map. There's a choke point right up to like your natural like area. I can just see the tank pushes already. I can see them killing me and my ladder points going down.
Yeah.
Like right now.
You're
There's
not
just so many places.
But that's the thing.
Like-
That's exactly what you said. That in the first week, the Terrans take advantage of these things, and then the
Yes.
next week, like this is exactly what happened on Nightshade. Like for the first week or
Mhm.
whatever, that tank push around the fourth was like really, really difficult. And now every time we try to bring it up as casters, we're like, yeah, it's a tough spot. We see Terrans not even try it anymore.
The only thing
They
that
don't
I
even
don't
do a
like
push there.
too, though, with that is like there's a base back there, which makes choke points super, super crazy. Like when you look at like sieges by the third bases, the right and the left side, there's 2 gases and a bunch of mineral patches. So like
Mm.
it's gonna be super choky to actually
As
get
a-
in there and
yeah.
attack it.
As a Zerg, do you just expand on the edge of the map here? That low ground fourth base potentially in like the bottom corner of the map looks really like easy to kill.
Yeah, it just feels bad. Like I mean, I can't tell for sure. I could just be completely wrong next week, but it feels like this will be a pretty hard Zerg map for. Like I can see an easy 3-4 bases for Terran and Protoss too, but an easy 5th base is not a thing here for Zerg players, I think. Whereas it could be
Okay.
pretty easy for Terran or Protoss as well. Like to take this low ground for Terran, no problem. Take that low ground versus Zerg, good luck. Like
You know,
these drops are gonna be insane.
the map actually like it looks very choky, but it also actually looks really big. Look at some of these chokes and visualize like a command center, right? And see how wide they
Mhm.
are. It's like
Yeah.
seems like it's bigger than it looks.
If
Like
that choke point in the natural
very
is like,
deep, yeah.
if that natural
I'm
choke
looking at
point
the
is,
left
is like
side.
what I think it is, then yeah, that is quite large.
Mhm.
I'm looking at a left side where it could be blocked off with basically 1 rack maybe in a supply depot of that left side. Like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. Also, some of these maps have really, really small chokes at the naturals. I think this is one of them where the nat choke is really, really small. But I'm not 100% sure if this was one of them. Like the age of gate cyber walls that are just full walls now is coming, which is
Well,
strange.
you look at the ramp, which I'm guessing is a regular ramp size in the main base, and then use that as like use your eyes to measure out the natural after looking at the ramp. Seems like a pretty
Yeah,
big
this
natural.
looks like a gate cyber wall to me. But I know there are a
Is it?
couple maps in the map pool that are just
think it
2
looks
building
bigger.
walls with
That
a
looks
with a
huge,
zealot in
isn't
it.
it?
Yeah, I think it looks bigger than that.
Yeah.
I can't
it's-
remember.
That's
I remember
huge.
playing on some of them. So
That gray stuff is buildable. That gray outline.
Pretty sure.
yeah.
Is this Death Aura?
Oh,
No,
is
this
it?
is
Oh,
the-
maybe it is.
No,
Wait.
we're looking at the ice and whatever.
Okay, so Death Aura is 2 building wall, but this is not.
Yeah, Death Aura was pretty gross.
Ice and Chrome's what
The
we're looking
wall
at.
is so
Ice
easy.
and Chrome is 3 building wall. There you go.
I remember now. I went over Death Aura. You can wall your third base with 2 gateways too. I was like, oh
Nice.
no, like it's gonna. I can see the triple turtles already. Like they're just so easy to turtle on some of these maps.
And with the Baneling nerf, it really is going to be Protoss NoRegreT, I think.
I think I should
Looking
go.
forward to it.
I'm gonna switch.
Just switch it up. Qualify
Yeah.
for GSL races. See if it can be done.
I think it's time.
All right, that's Ice and Chrome. Let's look at Pillars of Gold. Pretty map.
Mm.
Oh, this is a pretty map.
Disappointed
the
to
look.
not see a little bit more pillars of gold, I suppose. Oh wait, there are those pylon things are pillars of gold, I suppose, with
probably.
crystals in the middle. Nice.
This map is gross.
Like
it's
visually
gross?
or
No,
play?
it's beautiful, but it's gross as a map by the looks of it. This third base on the low ground with this cliff right above it. Like what?
Okay, yeah.
There's a ramp
there's-
with a
there's
cliff.
Yeah, there's no way that. Are you talking to the north of the main base?
I'm
Like
getting-
12 o'clock.
No, like just taking a third base here looks really uncomfortable.
Oh,
Like you can
okay.
take this high
Yeah.
ground third base, I guess, but that's just bad because there's multiple ramps. Or you take this low ground third base where there's a ramp right next to it with a cliff,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, the layout because you're not going to. Well, would you take? Okay, if you take the high ground third, it's kind of like Blackpink. How many games have I fucking seen there? The Protoss ramps.
I think you expand in a triangle on this map because if you go to the low ground third, there's like a high ground you can be attacked from. There's the right side. There's also like the ramp on the left going from the triangle base, like I'm looking at bottom left here. Like you can come from 3 different attack angles, and 2 of them are high ground. If you low
This
ground,
looks like an
third,
okay
third,
PVZ map.
Similar-
like it
similar to
might
actually,
be good
like-
for Zerg.
maybe like Cyber Forest, how it had like that like really easy to attack third base that was on the low ground.
Mm.
I do need to point out that top right's natural, top left, 9 o'clock, and bottom right are all weird alien faces.
They are. I see it. I
Oh,
immediately. I
wow.
exactly knew what you're talking about.
Oh,
No, I see it now as well.
It's really
Holy
They
good.
look
shit.
like some like amphibian type monster. Like, I see it. Oh, they look
I
like
know.
they look like the
fucking
the
mischievous.
guy from Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Hellboy. There we go. Hellboy.
Name that Pokemon.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
you mean the squid,
Gross
the
fishman.
fishman.
Yeah,
The-
Fishman. Exactly. Yeah.
The fishman. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Abraham. His name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Damn,
go.
good memory. Look at you.
I liked Hellboy. The Hellboy 1 and 2 are extremely underrated movies. The remake, the last one with David Harbour. I love David Harbour, but goddamn, that was a bad
I
movie.
didn't see that one. No.
But the Guillermo del Toro ones, I'm really bad at pronouncing his name. Guillermo del Toro Hellboys were good. I like them.
Well, that guy's
Mhm.
great. He made fucking Pacific Rim the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth.
All right.
Yeah.
So, final notes, because PVZ looks like this could be a pretty good map. I'm not 100% sure if you don't want a too wide open third for a Protoss because it could be really hard. But it looks like there's some ramps and stuff that they can definitely play with. But TVZ looks very scary to me. But I guess every map kind of looks scary in TVZ. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Okay. I kind of like it.
I'm sensing
I
a
like
theme
the
here.
look of it.
It looks really nice.
Can be broken too. It opens up the map really a lot when the double rocks are broken. It looks like. Not that anyone will necessarily open them. It's like.
Players never open them. It's sad.
By the way, I just want to ask you guys real quick: have you ever seen any pros ever mine the minerals out of the center of Zen? Ever?
Yeah.
Even you've seen it?
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying
I'm
Golden
thinking
Wall.
Golden Wall. Yeah.
Yeah, Zen. Nope. You're right. Zen.
No.
Nope.
The center of Zen.
I actually remember an EPT game.
Back and forth.
A Terran, and I think it might have been Euthermal. I think muled the middle minerals once.
Okay.
Yeah,
some
we see
reason.
the natural mined
Or a
out,
push.
but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the min, not the middle.
But the middle, that may as well just be a terrain.
wall.
Could have been Future. It's like Future or Euthermal or someone that plays in the EPT and NAs. I think actually muled the middle. Yeah, but that was the one time.
I wish someone would do that. It's just
Well,
fucking drive
they
me
can't
crazy.
anymore. The map's dead.
They're like, here's 170 supply moving through a little fucking thing like that. Anyway,
I love when the tanks get derped, man. Colossus can't figure it
Oh.
out. Like,
Yeah.
so stupid.
just leave it. It's fine.
You know the best TVZ feeling is when the Terran comes through there, right? And the creep, they scan, they clear the creep, and then your Ling Bane comes forward into them, and then they try to retreat back through that tiny little crevice with a tank in front, so everything just dies and blows up. It's like, what in the hell were you thinking? Are you just gonna casually clear creep with your entire army through a choke point in the middle?
I mean, why are you
happens so
clearing
often.
creep with your entire
Yeah.
army?
Well, they're damn Terrans.
All right, let's take a look at Submarine Ellie, last new map.
About time. You know what? A little bit of color. It's a little bit. It's not as vibrant as I would have liked.
They
but it's a
float
little
up
bit,
in
little bit of
this,
color there.
right? We
No,
can start
apparently
doing
not.
it
Apparently
memes.
not.
Wait,
Apparently
they
not.
don't float up? I was just going to
Apparently
say that finally
I was
we have another map.
devastated.
Bodies
No.
float up.
I was devastated. It's still let the bodies hit the floor, not the bodies hit the surface of
That's
the ocean. where they're
terrible.
fighting
Is
it.
it because of like
It's-
graphics or something, like performance issues?
Are those
I don't
trees
know.
on the map?
Those are trees, I think.
Are there trees underwater? Am I missing something here?
It's not underwater though because no one's floating up. There's
Yeah, it's
like
not underwater
there's pool-
anymore.
Look on the map at the edge of the map. There's little pools where water actually is.
So what's the point of
is
naming it
deceptive.
submarine?
Why the fuck are we calling it a submarine? Yeah.
It's a solid question. It's a solid question.
Well,
'cause
I guess
see that-
subsurface occasionally, so it's a surface submarine.
Yeah, maybe it's lower than water level, but it's in like a valley. You
Kiddie
know?
pool.
I feel like we got
But
teased.
technically, it is submarine.
Oh, this map is so weird. There's only like 5 bases or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah, it
5.
looks
Like
small map.
there's
It looks
very
like a
few
small map.
bases.
This is, I think, the rush map. I think.
Surprisingly few amount of bases for like I would really love to see a late game on this map because your banks would not be that high, and the restlessness like the fighting over
Yeah.
bases would be so much more important. Like
Oh, that's
you cannot let your opponent have another base. If you were down a base in this game, it would just be death. So the fighting would be really, really more intense compared to
excited
like
about
Eternal Empire.
If you could just have that, but plus the bodies float up, that would be like the perfect.
I was so excited, man. I see the name submarine. I'm like, shit, yeah, Abyssal Reef memes. They're coming back. And then it's like, no, they're all on the. It's not actually on the water. Nothing floats up. I'm like, ugh, ugh.
So
What a
it's
missed
BS,
opportunity.
man.
What a
Maybe
missed
there's a moment that
opportunity.
people are going up.
Yeah. I still remember casting TVT with Rotterdam and like I Am Katowice like 2 or 3 years ago, where we had like I think it was like a live innovation or something like that, or a live someone, and there was like one guy just walked into the siege tanks and the siege tanks just like erased all of his marines. We just watched all these little marine bodies float up to the ceiling. It was like it's like such a great memory. Still just remember that moment and just screaming and losing my mind.
We had a bug once where like a Reaper died and it floated to the top, but it got stuck on the camera. So you just had like a giant Reaper until you move the camera.
Awesome.
Or sometimes you
turn
zoom
on your
in.
windshield wipers.
There's a few times when you'd zoom in on a battle and like the fucking shark would just appear and you're like, whoa, it's right there.
The shark, oh, it's so good.
Damn.
Oh,
All right. Good maps, cool stuff. I really wish that people would make more underwater maps, and I want speed up bubulas on regular minerals and slow down bubulas on gold minerals. And my life will be at that point. We can actually turn off the servers once we have some pro matches on those maps because we've done everything at that point. All right. I think from there we're gonna jump into the Patreon questions. Let's do it, guys. Check out the Patreon if you want to drop any questions. You still have a little bit of time before it closes.
wait, do we have 3 weeks worth of questions?
I don't know.
Oh,
We're gonna see
God.
how many-
Oh God.
It looks like slightly more than we normally have, but not a lot. Not like 3
Okay.
weeks worth.
It's my favorite
All right.
segment. I'm down.
All right.
What's this? What's the? Can I just find the? Is it Patreon? Is it
in
the?
the Discord? Just go
I'll
to
show you a link.
I'll link
Patreon.
it in the group. One second.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry guys. Old man Maynard's just.
All right, here we go. Carl T. West asks, we've recently learned that the startling news that Tasteless thinks a rabbit's tail falls off when it's scared. Given this new revelation, what are your thoughts on the legitimacy of his claim to have studied multiple subjects in college? I know, right? This is
I mean,
what
he
you get.
studied.
Claim. That's
We
someone
don't know
else's
if he
claim.
studied. We don't know if he studied that hard. Is the only
Yeah.
thing I think. You know.
That was an amazing moment for me. And the thing is, that's exactly what I thought of was that old stupid fucking meme where it's like, Tasteless studied multiple subjects in college as soon as he said the fucking bunny tail falls off. All right, thank you for the question, Carl T. West. Tommy Balls asks, a wild-eyed scientist offers to let you use his SC changer. It's then that you notice the smell. Stale cigarettes seeping from his pores, cheap whiskey on his breath.
I feel personally attacked.
The soak and re-soak of urine on his once
Okay.
white pants.
All right, let's attack now.
Oh, now they're talking about me. Which series would you go back and change the results of? JD versus SOS 2013 BlizzCon?
Yes, that's one.
That would be a good one.
Absolutely, that is
that's a change.
absolutely one. If I had one choice, that would probably be it. I still kind of haven't forgiven SOS.
Well, I mean, you just recently had a YouTube video, NoRegreT, of the Parting and Marine King Prime's Team League finals at IPL. Shout out to your YouTube, by the way, which you guys can check out. History of StarCraft 2. I think that's a result that's worth changing. That was a pretty bad moment in history.
Oh yeah,
the PC
that's
game.
disgusting.
We want land.
Yep.
Yes.
And I got it all in there.
recall because there was a bunch of people from Blizzard in the audience, and I was like, ah!
Yep. Very famous photos right there.
Yeah.
Yes, I did a video on that, and I will. I also Marine King is also a guy I never forgave for beating many people.
Yeah, there's a lot of Marine King series that potentially shouldn't have been Marine King series. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if there's any other ones I can think of that I was so enraged over.
Yeah. No, I can't think of it. Like, I think I'd need a lot more time.
You know what?
Too
Ryong
much time.
versus Sniper. Ryong wins. No,
Ryong wins.
Yep, he faces.
What about
Roro?
the Soul Key Innovation Reverse All Kill?
See, I did think about that, but I'm actually okay with how that happened. I mean, Innovation's gotten 5 GSL champions behind that, or 4. Yeah. So.
That was the craziest reverse sweep I've ever seen. I think still to this day.
It was
maybe because that's 4 games in a row.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I have one that I just came up with. So I'm trying to recheck exactly who beat him. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the GSL, there was a GSL basically, and this meant a lot living in Korea because it was basically the one that Seed beat MC on the beach in Boost. You guys remember? It was one of the worst GSL finals ever.
And the Team League was also terrible.
Yeah. And so this was like a terrible finals. 4-1 for Seed over MC in the finals. But the thing is, we announced it was going to be in Busan, right? And Busan is the second biggest city. It was going to be on the beach, kind of that legendary moment.
Right.
And obviously PvP is a really fast series and things like that. But the part that was a killer was the top 4 was Seed versus Byun and MC versus DRG. And DRG is from Busan. So the turnout would have been gigantic if he had beaten MC there. And he was in the form to do it, but like he really panicked. I think there was too much pressure. He really wanted to play in front of his home crowd fans and stuff. So I would change that. I would have DRG beat MC there, and it would have given us a better finals. And it would like the finals when it happened, it was so sad because like very few people showed up to see this PvP. People were kind of hyped about DRG making it, then he didn't make it, and then it was sad, and then it was over in the blink of an eye because it was 4-1 in PvP. So
that whole day was a disaster because before that was the GSTL finals, and that was Slayers already having disbanded, yet not officially, permanently or whatever. Like officially they disbanded, but they're still playing.
That's
and
right.
Then
so it's
also,
like a weird feeling about it, like a futility.
Yeah, exactly. Like Gumiho kind of like almost did something cool, except that he just beat up on Slayers instead, and you're just like, nah, okay, never mind. But then didn't it also end so early that you guys couldn't do fireworks? You had like planned this whole thing because it was supposed to be nighttime on the beach. Yeah.
This is a problem that happens because you can't start it too late because you have to end by a certain time, but you want the lights to go out. You want it to get dark, and that's one of the things that ruined that finals. Like this was happening in ASL a lot, where we get outdoor venues and then Flash beat people too quickly, so it doesn't get dark and we can't use any of our fancy lighting. So we moved it back an hour for his last finals and made it best of 7 instead of best of 5. And so he 4-0'd Snow, and it was done before it's fucking dark again. And we're like, oh my god, why did finals get ruined? It's like
I remember that, and that was meant to be Flash's last final, right? Sick retirement, Flash. Yeah.
All right.
Good question.
Tommy Walls, thank you. That was a good question. All right. Zaubergarden asks, I felt like a big part of patching StarCraft 2 since HOTS was to give Zerg the anti-air splash it so desperately needed. This gave us the Ravager and the Viper, but it also caused the confusion with the Infestor. I'm much happier without the Infested Terran. Can I just have more health on Infestor instead?
I just
No.
want to say something real
question.
quick. The Ravager was more about, as far as I
That's the question, right?
remember, the Ravager was more about force field breaking because we had a lot of cheese. It wasn't about anti-air. People didn't even realize they should use Ravagers against Liberators until like 6 months in the Legacy of the Void. Swear to God. So
Yeah,
just wanted to get that in
100%.
there.
That's true.
Yeah.
We had no. I remember when it was fair. No one even cared that it did any damage to air. Like
yeah.
it was all about like, oh my god, we can kill force fields, the first time in like 5 years. It was
Absolutely.
amazing.
And then
The
people start
infinite
getting
possibilities.
knockdown libs.
Yeah.
But the question is, can I have more health than the Infestor instead? And the answer is no.
the
Yeah,
answer
why
is
would you want that?
or no? Sorry, Zalbergard, and thanks for the question. Tim Schneider asks, after the last episode on health, I still wonder how prevalent do you think is that knowledge is in this community? How much
that's a-
potential is still to be uncovered to contribute to the collective growth of StarCraft 2 professionals? How can I, as a health/performance psychologist, best contribute to that growth?
Oh.
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely still neglected, and I think that StarCraft 2 in some ways has become less professional because we don't really have pro teams anymore. So yeah, I mean, definitely there can still be growth in these areas.
I actually
How
would
can you
love.
contribute?
I think one of the best ways to do it, if you have like a decent recording gear or like a decent microphone and that sort of thing, you can make a YouTube series or something like that. I'd promote it for sure, like something about gamer health and how to stay, how to avoid injuries when playing long sessions of ladder or professional, playing professionally, that sort of thing with people that play 12 hours plus when it's their job. I think a channel like that would be fantastic, especially if you tailor it to StarCraft 2 and it could blow up into all of esports. I'm sure that stuff already exists, but not for StarCraft.
Yeah. Well, there was a phase where TLO was very gung-ho about this, right? Because he had wrist issues. A lot of people have wrist issues, but he's the one that spoke English. And there were a decent amount of like professionals who were still in talking about this stuff. Decent amount of medical professionals who are still watching StarCraft 2 talking about this stuff in context. And it is actually just very difficult to tell anyone on planet Earth to get up every 30 minutes from their computer. Like, I actually don't know what you can do better because there are, people Google. You can go ahead and Google, YouTube, whatever you want, but I don't know how you would contribute to growth like that any more than you already do. Like, maybe like a campaign where you get streamers involved so they all have timers, when they stand up or do exercise or something like that. But I don't know, man. There actually have been attempts to make this more wide known, but it doesn't really
Fair enough.
work.
I'd say try again.
Yeah,
Ben.
that's always like the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the question, Tim Schneider. Best of luck with that. Saft Scissors asks, deep question here. Any advice for a new parent on how to continue to enjoy and play StarCraft given the change in priorities due to being a dad?
All you Artosis.
There you go. Yeah.
Not too many dads
this
here.
is the problem. Having kids didn't change my priorities, man. StarCraft's still number one. No, I'm joking. Well, the thing is, you should like just kind of align yourself with how much time you actually have to play and be okay with skill dropping off or trying to improve in a different way. Like, what are you looking to accomplish? Because StarCraft's my job, I'm never actually that good of a person to answer this because I spend all of my time on StarCraft that's not spent with my family, basically, because it's like my passion and my job. So I'm not necessarily the greatest with that, but like get used to leaving ladder games that you don't want to leave. I can't tell you how much MMR I have lost over the past 8 years when my wife walks in covered in baby vomit, holding a baby that's also covered in baby vomit, and I just have to leave the ladder game. And I'm like, fuck, I had this guy. And I'm just like, out of here.
This is your fault, Tara and baby.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's helpful what I've said here, but that's.
I'd like to say something small. Like, just make sure you enjoy the game. Like, I would look at it in more of an enjoyment and less of like, I have to improve, I have to get better. Like, that grind is past you, I think. It's just that's not enjoyable, honestly. Like no one should really enjoy that grind of like constantly having to improve. Rather just play a game for fun. Play op phrases, play arcade, do whatever. Co-op, whatever you enjoy that's fun.
Actually, yeah, that's reminded me of some feedback that I gave to like people, or even people that gave feedback to me when I was an engineer, and I didn't really have a whole lot of time to play StarCraft. I was just like, I had like a couple of my friends give me some like free coaching to just be like, well, not even free coaching, but just like free advice. Just be like, well, just play like 5 games or as many games as you can a day. Like, find your opening where you have that time to play those games, and play however many games that you can fit in that time without going too far over or too far under. Just make sure that you can keep playing the game. And a big part of it, like Jake mentioned, that reminded me of this was that you have to enjoy it, because if playing 3 or 5 games of StarCraft, if you only have like 2 hours to play a game, is playing StarCraft really what you want to do with it? Does it stress you out? Does it make you feel like shit? Sometimes when you play ladder, some people can't handle losing 5 games in a row. And if that's something you can't handle, then play a different game. But if you're okay with just playing the game, you love playing the 1v1, yep, allot yourself some StarCraft time. Have some you time. Treat yourself.
Yeah. Also, if you do want to play and improve in things, don't forget, like, when the kids are small, you can kind of just throw the TV onto Twitch and like watch a stream or a YouTube VOD or something. Like that's definitely something that I've done where a lot of my, like, when I've been just trying to improve or something, I would watch more VODs, for instance, instead of play. And you can improve in all sorts of ways and stuff like that. And uh, maybe you switch over and you become one of these people that watches more than you play or something like that as well. But congratulations, Soft Scissors. It is great having kids. They're awesome. In fact, everyone here was a kid at some point. There you go.
Some people are really shitty kids, though.
I was apparently a real asshole.
Yeah,
I don't remember it.
I mean, they say like be scared of like your kid's gonna be like you, and some people are gonna be like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Artosis wants nothing but versions of himself to interact with. Are you kidding me?
Poor little clone. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
thanks
wait
for
till
the
they start balance arguing with each other. That's when you really.
That would be amazing.
Shit.
No,
STEM
they're-
Could you
class
imagine a
is
dinner
awesome.
table? Like
We're all gonna sit there just nodding when Protosses win tournaments. We're like,
You don't think one of your children's gonna be a black
from
sheep?
across the couch and just be like,
no
Actually-
Protoss players.
My oldest daughter, I think, wants to be a Zerg player.
nice.
I've known this for a long time. She's always thought the Zerglings were cute and looked like puppies. And more recently, she asked me, because we've been playing some StarCraft 1, if she can try out Zerg. I told her we have to beat the Terran campaign first. You have to stick with it.
I'm really glad
Push.
that she's keeping with the stereotype. I'm really proud.
yeah, all girls are Zerg players. That's right.
Samgrub, you're a Terran.
I
Come on
am, yeah, but not to like a dozen people in Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's
Simon,
it happens
remember
all
that
the time.
Zerg?
I'm a regular of a channel. It's actually uncanny. It's crazy. People just assume that because she's a lady that she plays Zerg. It's amazing.
Man. I didn't realize that, actually. Huh.
There's a lot of
Could be the name.
misconceptions.
Z zombie. Zerg.
Yeah, people say it's because my name. People say it's because I did play Zerg, but I played a Zerg for a year in 2011. Okay, like before Brood and Infestor. It was bad time to change, but yeah. And then people also think I'm Canadian, and I have no idea why they would ever think that. Like,
You're not Canadian? No, I was one of the people.
Yeah, you were
I
one of those people.
100% think. I 100% think it's because you wear plaid shirts sometimes. That's all it
The
is.
one plaid shirt that I have that I wear
That's
maybe
what I'm
every
saying.
10
That's
days.
all it takes. That's all it takes. You know Twitch chat. You know what they're like. That's all it takes.
Hey. All right.
Thanks for the question. Moving on. Legan asks, what are your thoughts on having only one TL map contest per year providing new maps? The change was announced with Team Map Contest. This means possibly fewer new maps and maps staying longer in ladder, like Eternal Empire, or possibly maps that did not do that well in the contests, like Death Aura.
I think that the more maps better. So more map tests.
So
More
this is a
happy.
question as to like maybe have less map rotation. Is essentially, is that what they're asking for?
Well, because
They're given.
yeah.
With less
sorry.
map contests, less maps. I
They're
guess.
saying, what do you guys think about there only being one, and then they're giving reasons
Yeah.
as to why it could be bad. Whether you agree with that
I
or
think
not
it's
is up
bad.
to you.
As well.
I always want more change rather than less, and I like having. I find the TeamLiquid map contest really entertaining. I like seeing new maps and really good players play on them. So
New maps
I'm
are
gonna-
super refreshing. They are.
yeah, it's just like a fresh coat of paint for a game that you know and love. So that's gonna be a no from me, dog. I'm sorry. I really like the current TeamLiquid map contest sort of setup.
Of course,
Several
I
years.
mean, the depressing fact though is that like it's not like there was a decision to deprioritize the maps to give money elsewhere, or at least that's what I'm guessing. Actually, I shouldn't say that I know that, but it's the way that it is how I view some of these things. You know, like the people are bringing up the economy change potential again on like TeamLiquid, and I'm like, you guys can talk circles around each other all you want, but it's never changing. Like,
It's not gonna happen.
you guys can want
gonna
a
happen.
billion TeamLiquid map contests and want Blizzard to hire map makers, and it's just not happening. So I just I try not to. I guess I just try not to have like too many opinions on it. I suppose because I'm just like, well, that's the reality we're in. So hope you like the same maps.
You are essentially talking to the clouds or talking at a wall. And they,
Yeah.
it's when you have those arguments amongst each other, like you might even the two sides might even agree in the end. You know, the two sides be like, we agree. Finally, this is the best. And then nothing will happen still.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah. So save your effort and just enjoy those map contests.
Yeah, just I guess vote, right? Like that's the most important thing, so
Yeah,
that
be a
when
part
they
of the voting.
do only have one, the fifth most voted is not something that people are just like, oh, whatever. They actually thought
it'll
about
actually
what was
matter
fifth
through the year.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right. Thank you for the question, Legan. Hot Cops asks, Artosis, in the round of 16 group selection, I noticed Scarlett and Dark conversing without a translator. Does Scarlett speak Korean? Does Dark speak Korean? Who speaks Korean and who speaks English? Do your kids speak Korean? Do they go to Korean school? Life is mysterious and full of questions. Okay, so Scarlett's Korean is pretty darn good. Dark's English, it exists, but it's not super good. They were probably speaking a mixture. Sometimes we call that Konglish out here, where it's like Korean and English together, because basically, if you live in Korea for any amount of time, you speak some amount of Korean, and all Koreans speak some amount of English. And when you put that together, you can kind of have this hybrid thing where you're using words from both. And generally, every foreign I know speaks with that like mixture, unless they are perfectly fluent. Pretty often. I mean, it's StarCraft anyway, so it's super easy to talk about. Do my kids speak Korean? My oldest daughter is 100% fluent. The other ones are learning. Do they go to Korean school? Yes. Life is mysterious and full of questions. Indeed, it is. Thank you for your.
I mean, you live in Korea. It feels like a kind of a superfluous question. It's like going is like, do you get Korean barbecue in Korea? It's like, well, we just call it barbecue here. It's like, do you go to Korean school in Korea?
I mean,
well,
okay, hold on.
The foreigners call it Korean barbecue still.
Hold on. NoRegreT. How long have you lived in Korea? How much Korean do you know?
I've been here for 4 years. I can get around. Like my Korean is definitely not as good as it should be, but it's never inhibited me. I can speak enough to order. I can speak enough to go anywhere I need to go.
Yeah, I've been around with you.
But
so
for 4 years, yeah, like I should definitely be way better. But I think my priorities are not where they should be.
You also came here as an adult, so going to school was not something that you had to.
Oh, sorry.
Worry about
if you were saying that's a superfluous question because of the daughter, that's my bad. I thought you were asking if Artosis.
I meant a superfluous question as to does she go to a Korean school in Korea?
Oh, okay, my bad.
And I would say yes.
There's international schools. Actually, people get really surprised that
actually that is true, and I should know better because I went to an international school when I lived in Israel. I went to an American one.
And there's actually an international school like 1 minute walk from my house, but why? I mean, what are you going to learn there? It's like it's pointless, and it costs a ton of money. So
there are tons, by the way, of those. It's so weird.
Yeah, they're very.
Like, you know where our old team house was? It's like in the middle of nowhere. There was an international school right next to us. It just made no sense. No one's ever spoken English out there. Like it's so rural.
They want to learn, so international schools are a great way to do that. because they're taught in English. But I want my kids to speak other languages well, and they do. Or well,
And
one of them
especially when you're young specifically, right? It's a lot easier to learn a language, multiple languages. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Moving on. Izzy D asks, when it comes to different tournaments showing the production tab, do you have a preference when watching versus casting? Also, can I give a shout out to the ASL/GSL translator this year? The interviews have been great. Thanks. Well, I will let Andy know that he has done a good job. He's a very good translator that we use. He does all of our GSL stuff. So when it comes to different tournaments showing the production tab, do you have a preference when watching versus casting? Okay, so my thought on this, and I talked about this a lot really early on, in StarCraft 1, there's suspense because there's no production tab, so you don't actually know what's going on. If you have a really good observer, they can do things like know that something's being made and then avoid it. And if the commentators work with that, they can build a lot of suspense where suddenly there's mutas or something like that. Whereas in StarCraft 2, we're always using production tabs. So you kind of are telling the story via what's being made, and you don't even like you can just kind of glance at that. Like I can focus my commentary and like have more eye contact with the co-caster because I have the production tab to look at, which I think makes it more banter friendly in a lot of ways. I don't know. That's my thought.
I mean, I feel like just because I got into commentary when production tab existed, so I wasn't really super into like I definitely watched some Brood War, but very intermittently. The age of no production tab whatsoever. And I don't know what it's like to not have it, I suppose. And I definitely rely on it as well, especially when I started casting. So I know Apollo and a few others were very, very adamant about getting rid of it and just seeing how it would fly.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is another one of those people don't like change situations where a lot of the community would actually hate it if you're watching a tournament like that. And I'd be very like conscious of the fact that most of the people watching would be very much hating no production tab because they scream for it if you don't have it up, even on like a weekly or like a solo cast or something like that. Like if you don't have the production tab up, they are screaming for it. They want it. Everyone wants it. So I think it's one of those things that it could be cool, and I would love to test it, but no one is testing it. I would like to be part of that.
I think they did.
They did do it when Apollo was saying that we should try this.
Oh, that's right. They tried it, and everyone hated it.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I mean, you had people who were probably also Brood War fans who were saying it's the next coming of Jesus, and then everyone else, pretty casual, was like, I don't see the point. I don't see the benefit. So
well, it's one of those things where it just like like the whole building suspense thing. I feel like it just moves it. Like it's not like the suspense isn't there. It's just moved. And people from like the old school think that knowing that a structure is going to come down and seeing it get placed down from a good observer, that's the big reveal. But production tab kind of just moves it a little bit to a different direction where like the big reveal is it popping up in the production tab or something like that. Like it is still a, oh my God, there it is kind of thing. It's still there. It just means that it's more intuitive for a viewer, I suppose. So it's good in that way.
Good way to put
I
it.
think the Koreans prefer more suspense-based casting because I've noticed in the last few years the GSL observing shifted towards that, where right before, for instance, the Spire finishes, they'll switch to the units tab or something like that, right? To kind of have the big reveal. There's the mutas! Whoa!
Like the unit appearing?
Yeah, like popping over, like before they start BCs, for instance, like the observer will know because I know it's going to happen, and then I see the observer like right as the fusion core is finishing or whatever, switches the tab to something else, and it's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. It's
that would make sense though because they also still don't do health bars, which is very, very annoying. So I think you can just like it really is. I don't know, maybe it's too simple. Like I watched Brood War and StarCraft 2. I actually thought this guy was asking about whether we like different styles when we are in game versus when we are watching a tournament. I didn't realize he was asking about StarCraft 2 versus Brood War. But as someone who watches both,
you're right.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just on a tangent.
No, I think you're right, but the Brood War comparison is there, right? Because
yeah, definitely true. I would say for the first thing I thought it was, I don't have a like I pretty much cast and observe the same way I watch and whatever, so I don't think I really have a preference. But for like the whole like suspense building thing, like I just view it as two different esports. I like maybe it's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but in Brood War you have that suspense built that way, and then in StarCraft 2 you have the suspense built the other way, and trying to prove that one is better than the other is just futile. So I just go with what's part of the casting meta. So I like both, I guess, is my answer.
Good answers all. All right, thank you for the thought-provoking question there, Izzy D. Sergeant Blano asks, what do you feel is the greatest or one of the greatest upsets in Brood War and or StarCraft 2 history? It doesn't have to be a championship win, i.e. Neeb's win over Rogue in the top 8 of GSL. What is the greatest upset that you guys have seen?
I mean, speaking of Neeb, whenever I think about Neeb and upsets, I think about him winning the Kesper Cup. That was a big one.
Yeah. I think about Bjorn winning his GSL title,
and then
right?
and then the world final afterwards.
Machine of Jin Air Green Wings.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And that was kind of like it was the teamless guy against the best team, and like
it was like
the Kesper era and all that.
Yeah, it was like man versus a machine, like versus the establishment almost. Like he was the rebel, kind of. And he had that funny jacket where it's like "Love me forever or never" or whatever it was, like that legendary photo of him on stage winning it.
Yeah.
He just felt like he was a fucking like a biker rebel, man. He was like fucking rebel without a cause. I loved it.
I thought that Artosis was gonna say Bisu Savior, so I guess I'll say Bisu Savior.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was even like, we talked about Joxi coming in as like, somehow he got to the GSL finals. No one thought he was going to win though. And he just like instantly opens up by like killing 2 overlords. And you're just like, ugh. Like Bisu Savior was like the same thing. Granted, I watched this whole, like I watched it in 2011 and it happened like years past. But from my understanding, it was like really just like, lol, who is this kid? He's dumb. Lol, he's not going to do anything. And then he just comes in the finals and actually wins. So.
I mean, I actually brought it up already once this broadcast, but the Innovation Sulky final. Like, Innovation was on his way to a 4-0 sweep, and it should have been because he was, like, unbeatable in TVZ. Sulky was not favored by anyone at all, anyone ever. And if anyone said that they were favoring Sulky, they were lying. And then the reverse sweep. What the fuck? Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It was like, Innovation was, like, unbeatable in TVZ back then in Heart of the Swarm. He was, like, unbeatable. He was fucking ridiculous.
I guess like shout out, like it's not my choice, but a shout out to it was Lennox run through the lower bracket of an MLG. I don't remember which one it was, but he got knocked to the lower bracket on day 1, which means you have to play like, I don't know, something insane, like twice as many games until the finals if you continue winning. Yeah. And it had been unheard of for anyone to actually win through that from that far behind. Actually, that was pretty cool.
You just made me think of one of the greatest games I never saw was when Sase had a run like that, was through the loser bracket of MLG, where I just kept looking at the results. I'm like, Sase, he's killing all these Koreans. Why are we casting this other shit? And like, this day I didn't see those games, but they must have been great.
Yeah.
Any big ones for you, NoRegreT? Any big upsets that you've enjoyed?
Not that I can really think of, to be honest. Like, my StarCraft views are like very recent, like
it's hard to,
it's quite hard for me to like tunnel vision
everything
on
recent
the
way.
past.
Recency bias,
and also as of recently, like I feel like the number of upsets has been kind of limited. At least I don't know if that means because my understanding of each individual player is higher than it was before. But I guess I would say that Scarlett versus Rogue was definitely an upset
for sure.
Crazy one.
I mean, chat's brought up near Mike Amaru. That's definitely one of the biggest of all time.
What about Patat, right? How's his name?
Oh, from Nation Wars.
Yeah, Patak. From Nation Wars. Patak. Yes, Patak.
Yeah.
When he won against it was a Zerg player, it was a Korean. It was Team Korea. God, that was a good one.
Sue or something.
Something like that.
Something like that, man.
Oh yeah, there's Zhuge versus Sue in the finals of that too, of a Nation Wars. Right?
I just keep thinking
Stats
about that.
Is like laughing.
Yeah. You and I watched that game. Yeah.
Innovation and Stats just laughing at Sue as he turns over to his team for support.
That was dope.
love it.
That was my favorite. I think that was my favorite clip from that year.
Yeah. All right. Excellent question, Sergeant Blank. We have good questions today. Look at this.
Mm.
Knock Cop asks, could you please explain StarCraft Brood War damage types? I've tried but failed with Wikipedia. Also, could I get at least the GGE mini treatment if you butcher my name? That or have a German or Dutch provide language support. What, Knocked Cop is not his name?
It might
Knocked
knocked,
the cup.
knocked like night, knocked
Knocked?
night.
Hey.
That's night in German.
Knocked
Knock.
the cup.
StarCraft Brood War damage types. There's 3 types of damage: explosive, normal, concussive. Explosive does full damage to large units. Structures are considered large units. An Ultralisk, a siege tank, big shit is large. A Dragoon, a Reaver. Okay, so explosive damage does full to big. It does half to small, which would be something like a Ghost, a Zergling, a Marine. And then there are some medium units. So it'll do like a little bit. It does like in between to that. I actually can't think off the top of my head what the exact numbers are for explosive damage. It's generally larger damage. Like a siege tank has explosive damage. A Dragoon has explosive damage. Everything does full shields, by the way, just to throw that out there. Okay, because this is all the damage type corresponds with the unit size. Okay, now there's normal damage. Normal damage does normal damage to everything. Bam, done, easy. Concussive damage. Concussive damage is shitty. It does full damage to small, 1/4 to large. Okay, so like for instance, a vulture does like 5 damage to a building. And by the way, buildings have armor, so that's why vultures don't kill buildings. Vultures have concussive, fire bats, ghosts. Only Terran units because it's shitty damage. Yeah, I don't know. Am I missing anything here? That's how damage works in Brood War. Yeah. There you go. It's pretty simple.
If you say so.
Yeah, right. If you say so.
StarCraft
All right.
2 has light and armored. That's it. Oh no, we have spell damage.
Well, you have
Spells.
psionic and
Yeah, I guess spell damage.
Normal.
Those are unit types, but damage types is there's like
oh, you're right. In damage types, it's just the 2.
yeah, in damage types it's just like spell and then regular attack.
Right.
And then plus versus armored and stuff. Yeah, they spell it out better in StarCraft 2.
They do. They really do.
Yeah.
The thing is, I never even think about this. I just know how much shit does to each other. You know what I mean? Like if I'm
Yeah.
clicking in the game, I know how many shots will do it. Like I technically can explain it, but like
That'd be really annoying, anyways.
I know
Like,
how many
don't-
vultures it takes to kill a Dragoon. Like you know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the question. Hope that helped. Knocked Cop. Red Gunner Guy asks, finally got the Patreon to work again. Oh, sorry about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Now back to the questions. Are all workers equal? If I kill 10 drones and Zerg kills 10 SCVs at the same time, say at 5 minutes, is one race worse off for the dead workers?
Yes.
What about probes? Assuming Saren Macrame, thanks for the answers. What's the answer, guys? Yes.
The answer is yes, one race is worse off, and that race is Terran.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, there you go.
Are you saying that because you're a Terran player? Like,
Yeah,
what the
is
fuck?
this like
Zerg
a
is worse
Terran
off. Zerg losing drones
bias?
early.
At the 5 minute mark, if a Terran loses 10 SCVs, he says
Well,
10.
look.
If I kill 10 drones, a Zerg kills 10 SCVs at the same time.
Well, Protoss would be the worst.
Yeah, but he didn't bring up
Yeah,
Protoss.
Terran have mules.
So what about probes?
Zerg can build infinite drones at the same time. Protoss are just sitting
Yeah, I
there
would
with
say
their
Zerg is
really-
worse, Terran's second, and Protoss. Sorry, reverse that.
Protoss
Protoss
is
is
worse.
worst. Yeah, Terran is middle, and Zerg is okay. Wait, no, I'm confusing
think
myself. Fuck.
Terran has the most
Okay, you
wiggle
guys.
room for losing
Yes.
workers after mules are out. They have the
Artosis
most
says.
wiggle room.
He said the 5 minute mark in this question, and I'm responding to that particular occasion in this question.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'd have mules.
5 minute mark. Yeah.
We'd have.
We're
both
also
mules.
talking. We have to talk about the portion
And
of
Q- and-
probes
Yeah, I would
and
say
drones.
Probes would hurt the most at 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probes hurt
Okay,
the most.
but I'm just
then
defending
drones,
myself.
Then SCVs.
Protoss were not brought up at all in this question. In this
No, he
Like in
particular
the
says-
early.
example.
He says, "What about probes?"
Are you a lawyer? Like, what's going on here?
He actually says one of them pros.
I'm gonna bring in my lawyer in a minute. They live in a room just over there. And I'll just get my lawyer over here to stand in for me. They can take all your questions.
Okay,
I'll give you my
anyways,
card. You can call our office for questions. There you go.
let's just say Zerg and Terran then. All right, which one has it worse? Maynard still says Terran has it worse.
Well, once
at a certain
Zerg
point
is
in the
up
game,
at
yes. Later on,
prone.
not really.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it depends on the portion of units you're killing here. If you're killing a third of the Zerg's economy, then obviously that's way worse. If you're killing a third of the Terran's economy and they have mules, it's like, well,
Yeah, and it
definitely not as
matters.
bad as a third of Zerg.
Build openers too, right? That actually has a like. If you go, there's so many games I see where people think innovation's dead, but it's like no. He has 3 commands, and then suddenly his SCVs are all back, and it's like, oh
Yeah, I mean, literally, if we're talking about like an all-in that Zerg does, not 5 minutes, maybe a little bit later than that, but like you can easily lose 20 plus SCVs with 3 CC, right?
Still be ahead, yeah.
Yeah, and still be fine. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
the answer is it's complicated.
yeah, it's,
Very
I was gonna
complex.
say like I'm not even sure we're equipped
But
to.
The answer to your question is no. Like 10 drones is not equal to 10.
Yeah, I would say it's not equal,
probes.
but it also
It's
has
not
so much
equal
to
to 10
do with like
SCVs.
what other things are happening, right? Like if Terran has stim and drop potential, they're going to get drones probably in return immediately, right? Because that's always the biggest difference too. Whereas if Zerg has no army and loses 10 drones, well, they might have started with higher drone counts to begin with, but they don't have any way to make up for that damage, right? Like
Yeah.
it's way too complicated.
All right.
Cool.
Well, good answers, though. Good answers. Thank you, Red Gunner Guy. Shampoo McTavish asks, Artosis has previously displayed great knowledge regarding what constitutes proper capitalization in pro gamer handles. Can you shed some light on what makes for good capitalization, or is this more of an intuitive art? Which of the following are good or bad? Showtime, innovation, mana, hero marine, soul.
Objectively, Hero Marines is bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Objectively,
you gotta capitalize the E.
Oh,
I think is the ends look good capitalized. I feel like in innovation, right? That looks quite nice. Capital V looks nice.
Yeah.
But the capital E at the end for Hero Marine, not feeling it, Gabe.
Thing is, I can take capital E, but that's just not even good alternating caps for that. I think that's just he failed on that.
The N needed to be it. It needed to be the N.
If capping his
second
name
one.
was an ESL Cup, he would not have won 5 of them. Okay. Mana has good caps. Innovation has good caps.
I like Souls too.
how
Very
innovation has good
questionable
caps. So why would he have the N capitalized? I've always been bothered by innovation's name.
Yeah, I didn't like it super much. It has grown on me some over
What?
the years, but I think overall it fits.
So
Like, looking
Showtimes
at
I like
together-
because it's 2 words with like the capitalized letters at the end. Normally, I don't like 2 capitalized letters together. So for innovation's name, I'm not a big fan of the I and the N at the start. I would have liked small I.
Ooh, that's interesting.
But Showtime is 2 words put together, kind of. So that I think he gets a buy there.
Why would you have why would the W be capitalized there?
His W's bigger than the fucking whole rest of the word.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually always what bothered me about it.
It's an ugly cap. It's an ugly cap. He fucked that up.
It is a bit, but
He's got handsome
I kinda
Protoss
like-
and an ugly cap in his name.
I'm
Mana
with
has
Jake
the
on
best
Soul.
one.
I think it breaks apart from the pack, and yeah, Mana went for the classic
I like
alternating
Soul
caps.
too.
The classic
Soul has
alternating caps.
that's a good final cap.
Yeah.
Soul
Yes,
Soul's final cap is like a fuck you naming like capitalization conventions. He went the
It's got a
opposite. It's like
big
normally
L.
you always start with the cap and then and then it's everything after that is little. He did the opposite. What a baller!
That L at the end, that's the bad boy look. That's the leather jacket on.
Exactly, it's the jacket.
Yeah.
The bracket.
Yeah, the bracket. Yeah. Someone went up to Soul and says, "What are you rebelling against?" And he says, "What do you got?"
Thank you, Shampoo McTavish, for an excellent question. I love the giving us the names, because if we had to think of them ourselves, this would not have been very good. All right. Foot4264 asks, which StarCraft 2 Pro would make the best president of a country? Also, who would be his/her vice president?
It's on the country.
I think Snoot would be an excellent president.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think Snoot would be a good leader.
I think he'd wait far too long to act on things.
He would take a long time to make a call for sure,
Far too long.
but it would be the correct call when he made it.
Yeah, and he would macro very well.
I'd go with TY. think TY would trust to
TY?
lead the nation and lead the military.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also, not only is Snoot Norwegian, which is already a very wealthy country, but being a guy that can manage his economy so well back in the day, he'd have a very rich nation whoever he ruled. He'd make a lot of economic sense.
If I was going to be a president, I would want Haas to be my vice president so that he'll fight to keep me alive. You know what I mean? They're like, don't let him die.
I was thinking Scarlett. I think she's
As a
pretty
president.
reasonable. Yeah, and then
As
the vice
president?
president, maybe someone like.
She's very bad at confrontations, I would say, which is kind of a role of a president.
Is she?
What if someone was a piece of shit to Scott? Like, because as a president, right? Like, you go visit another president for you meet each other. It is kind of a power flex at the same time. It's an unspoken thing, but they're also just trying to sort of make their country look good while they're talking to this person. Can
You guys have
Scarlett make
convinced me.
Canada look good if she was
It's
say
Raynor
meeting?
now. You got me.
It's Raynor now. There it is.
All right, Raynor,
Raynor,
a
yeah.
laser vice president.
Ooh, I like it.
No, no, there gotta be different race to the vice
What
president.
about
Gotta have a
what
power
about
couple.
no,
It has to be a
what
power
about what about
couple.
Raynor with Cyril vice president?
Yeah, what if that? That's at least a
I
better
feel like
power couple.
that would be very insulting to Cyril.
Yeah, I don't think you could.
vice
I
president?
almost think it'd have to be
I
the
think Cyril
reverse.
would-
Cyril with Raynor vice
I think
president.
Cyril would actually be a very good behind the scenes. Let's make this
Wait.
kid actually make a sensible decision. Kind of.
He's the type of guy who doesn't want the powers, but he stays around to help the people who have the
Yeah,
power.
I think maybe. Do you think Raynor definitely would be a good president?
Yeah, he would be.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Totally.
Maybe Raynor
He'd
Cyril.
be the next Reagan, except it'd be Raynor.
I don't know if that's a great. I don't know about that.
I
one.
just like the idea
I
of
just
like
mean,
Raynor.
charismatic, not like he would do what Reagan did, but
I like the idea of
Shakespeare for
Raynor
that
and a
one.
laser like sitting at a table, like coming up with ideas together. I just like that
Yeah.
idea. That'd be a great idea.
it'd probably become an empire and they'd hostile take over the world.
Excellent. Another great question. Thank you, Foot. Fridgerator asks, what StarCraft units would make for good toppings on pizza?
Ugh.
Well,
None?
I would be only comfortable eating the Zerg, to be honest. So
Yeah.
every time I took a bite out of a Marine, I'd be like,
I would never eat a Marine because that's a person and I'm a person, but I would definitely attempt to eat Zerg and maybe Protoss. I would try Protoss, but
okay,
I
what if
wouldn't be
it's
sticking with it.
cheese made out of Protoss lactation?
Sure, I'd try it.
I bet creep
That's
would
good?
taste like
Alright.
strawberries.
I'm
Creep
guessing it
tastes
doesn't
spread on
taste like
creep
strawberry.
spread on bread would be great. I bet like a toasted creep spread and some larva.
That is a famous shirt
That
from
is
the Handsome Nerd.
handsome nerd. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Zerg would be really tough meat, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like eating insects. You know,
Like,
that's what I would expect.
So they would be crunchy. They would be crunchy as
People
well.
do eat insects, which is
Yeah, they
fine.
do.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying that like it wouldn't be like eating meat. Like the meat would be it'd be kind of like eating like a crustacean. I feel
Yeah.
kind of like a hard shell, but like a soft meaty.
I don't
bit
know,
in the
hydras
inside.
look kind of
Actually,
like,
Protoss might be like
slippery.
more normal meat.
Like
no, they'd be all
Yeah.
leathery and bony.
I think they'd be a bit. Yeah,
they're very
probably
But the
skinny,
inside-
actually.
a bit leathery, maybe. Well, I don't know about the inside. Protoss evaporate into mist when they die.
Oh,
So
True. How do you get
What-
the
what
dinner?
so
are
is
they
like
even-
Protoss like a drug then?
You go hunting for Protoss and they
No, no.
evaporate. You're like, "Aw."
like,
You
wait,
The evil is still alive.
Rewind.
Another dead when it turns into smoke.
Protoss in the lore actually eat by light, right? Because they're like plants.
Photosynthesis.
So you smoke Protoss. You don't eat them. There we go.
Sense. You
Yeah,
could like
that makes
capture the
sense.
smoke. Yeah.
You smoke Protoss.
You could
You don't eat
sniff
it.
them too.
You could sniff it.
You could
Make it
sniff
into a
Protoss.
You
powder.
like rub it as like
Protoss
is it like one
powder
of those
could
like
maybe be good
scratch
on
and
wounds.
sniffs?
You can maybe make Protoss pants, like hemp pants.
And like the kala will make you feel like enlightened. I bet.
yeah. Just smoke a little collar, man. Just a little
Yeah, that's
collar
what
for
you-
everyone
That's how
before
you get
let
the
her.
collar.
Yes.
Oh.
Amazing. Another great,
Breakthroughs here.
We did it.
another great question. Thank you, Refrigerator. Rip Exodus asks, do you holster or sheath a gunblade?
Mm.
You holster it, I believe.
Yeah, you holster.
Yeah,
it.
you holster it.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm.
You got to
do.
be very careful, though.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best idea, but I always imagine him as holstering.
I mean, a
it.
gunblade is already extremely dangerous to have anywhere near you. Well, NoRegreT
Imagine-
just like his house.
Imagine how big and awkward the sheath would be for a gunblade. That's just like
Put it on your back
know,
if you're gonna
it
do
would fill up
that.
with rainwater or some shit. It'd be like what?
But if you holster it, doesn't that mean that the tip of the blade is still exposed?
Yes,
Right?
yes, it does.
So it would have to be like nowhere near your leg or the back of you or anything like that. Like you'd have to.
Well, it just says it can't. It probably can touch your leg casually, but it probably
side of
shouldn't
it.
slap on your leg. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd
You
have
don't
to see some
wanna fall
designs. Come back to us with some designs, and we'll give you the yay or nay on them.
We need to know the exact gunblade that we're talking about here.
Yeah, we want to see the
That too.
gunblade that we're working with and the holster, like some of your concepts. And we'll come
Yeah,
back to you.
because you're talking to Lightning's gunblade doesn't fold up or some shit. She's lame. But still,
Come on.
it is a gunblade.
Yeah, FF8 gunblade or die. That's the only one we're talking about here.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Rip Exodus. Falcon Hain asks 2014 GSL Season 3, Round of 4. Inno defeats Cure 4-3, ending his Royal Rotor run. 2016 GSL Season 1, Round of 4. TUI defeats Cure 4-0. 2020, Cure gets his revenge against Inno. Will he get his revenge against TY? May the best one win. Could you share an anecdote of a finals that made you feel the same way this one does? Love from DC. We already talked about this. Most of us think TY is going to win, probably. Maynard was a little bit iffy on that, I think. But
I'm just kidding. I would not be extremely surprised if Cure won. That's all I'm going to say. But I am favoring TY.
Is there a finals that made you guys feel similar about this matchup coming up?
About the stories kind of converging.
Maru TY actually got it for me.
I do feel similar to that.
Yeah. Where like and then you were like, oh, Maru wins this like a lot of people just like, oh, Maru easy, but like Maru himself was saying that made it really hype, is that Maru was saying he's the last guy in this whole bracket that I want to play. He's like, his TVT is the best in the world. I don't want to play this guy. It's like I wanted, I don't remember who TY beat in the semis, but yeah, he's like he did not want TY to get through to that final. Maru was terrified of him. And I think that this final's similar in that regard. It's like it's a very cool one to come up with. They feel very closely matched on paper. It's exciting.
That's the closest one I can think of as well.
I can't think of revenge matches. Sorry, I can't really think of revenge storylines right now. So, because I feel like that's more what he's asking.
Could be either.
A finals that makes me feel warm and fuzzy and like it was super cool to watch the story unfold. I can think of those, but
Beyond Dark, that was one.
Yeah, or even the J-Dong SOS finals before you lost. So,
all right. Falcon Hain, thanks for the question. State Zero asks a useful question, a silly question, and a food question. Can anyone recommend a good podcast or book about helping you learn a new skill properly? What normal music song makes you instantly think StarCraft, Attack 30 Seconds to Mars does for me? What sentient food would... No, joke, not this week. Okay, thank you for leaving out the sentient food question. You guys know a good book or podcast to help you learn a new skill properly? And what normal music song makes you think about StarCraft?
And do you just mean skills in general? I mean, I learned meditation from Sam Harris from the Making Sense podcast.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That was really, really good. It's like a guided thing. If you mean skills in general, I actually don't have an answer, unfortunately.
The book 21st Hours or something like that is kind of an interesting one on learning new skills. I didn't actually use much anything that I read in the book, but I thought it was like a good intro to the subject of that.
I don't remember many books where I learned a new skill from that book, but I guess I don't know if it counts as a skill. Like I got into Buddhism by reading oh shit, what was it actually called? It had to do with Star Wars. Well, I haven't read it in a while. The Dharma of Star Wars, that's what it was called.
Oh, okay.
But that was very educational.
Okay. The Dharma of Star Wars sounds extremely nerdy. Okay, I'm down.
It is.
The Mental Game of Poker is a really good book.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good one. How about a song that makes you think StarCraft instantly?
I got this one. I'm ready for
Yeah.
this one. Flux Pavlon Cracks, because Idra played it on his stream constantly.
Oh, that's a good point.
Dude, anytime I hear this one, instantly back to 2011.
For me, it's a song that GSL made me. I have a lot of songs on my Spotify playlist because of GSL, and one was that would like stand, fight, heaven shall burn. That one.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, oh, every time I hear that song, it just makes me think about StarCraft every time. And of course, like Raw.
Yeah, roar.
Um,
My Life Would Suck Without You by Kelly Clarkson for me definitely does it.
Why?
Oh, that's one of the
StarCraft
best
Life
Broodor
Would Suck.
intros of all time. That's
Really?
Oh, really? They had that as a Broodor intro?
Oh yes, they did. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's the one where they all jump in the pool. I believe Jaedong won
Oh,
that.
really? Oh no, my god, I do remember that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Kelly Clarkson.
That was a good intro, actually. I mean, it wasn't
That
as
was
cool as
great.
some of the other ones, but
That was actually my favorite intro. I love that.
yeah.
Oh,
That was good. Also, just
when
K-pop in
Bako
general.
jumps in the water, I'm like, why is he in a StarLeague? What the fuck's going on here? All right, C0, thank you for the question. Some drunk Canadian asks, to Papatosis, why did GSL swap Purity and Industry for Obsidian midway through the tournament? To the rest, are you a Star Trek nerd? If so, what series is your favorite? If not, what is your space sci-fi go-to? So much love for the land of maple syrup and beavers. So why did we switch the map? GSL likes to have one of its own maps, just for whatever reason. Everyone was vetoing Purity and Industry anyways, and they like to have 4-player maps, like to add a little bit of interesting change to it. A lot of the games that we have on 4-player maps are kind of interesting, so it just gets vetoed a lot. There's not like a great story behind this. That's just kind of how it is.
I actually helped balance and pick this map too.
Oh yeah?
Which
Well,
I
you have
helped-
insight, please.
I helped Mr. Quan a lot. He's the guy that makes these decisions. Basically, options are like like the introduction of a 4-player map was something they really wanted, like more than anything else. It's really hard to balance a 4-player map. Like I did a lot of work trying to make it as balanced as possible, but it's really hard. It's not simple. There's infinite locations, different positions. They all play out differently in all the different matchups. But the biggest thing is just 4-player map, good. That's what they wanted. So it was the difference between Purity and Golden Wall. I said Golden Wall probably makes better games than Purity overall.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So that's basically what happened. The reason why I was introduced halfway through, though, I think it had to do with just the timing of like the map being ready instead of it just being ready right off the bat.
Yeah, and you have to wait for a round to finish to change maps too.
Yeah.
It's just normal. All right. And are you guys Star Trek nerds? If so, what is your favorite series? If not, what's your sci-fi go-to?
Not really. I
Yeah.
kind
Star
of,
Wars?
I do
Star
like
Trek.
Star Trek. Like I remember watching all of the Next Generation back in the day as like a binge. I watched part of Voyager. Deep Space Nine was cool, but it's not like I don't think the greatest ever. It's okay.
Yeah.
My go-to. I've brought it up several times, and it's very like I think it's you either love it or hate it, I guess. But I like The Expanse a lot. That's my whenever I think about a great sci-fi, it's my first thing that comes to my mind. It's the first one in a long time that's blown my mind. Battlestar Galactica is another great one. But
Yeah.
those two.
They I like the original Star Trek actually. That's the only one I've watched from start to finish. So
The
I like
Godzilla
the
suits.
campiness.
Kirk sleeping with green women.
Yeah, I loved
Mm.
Captain Kirk. And then I watched a fair bit of the other ones, but yeah, I'm actually watching the one with Picard, Next Generation, right now.
Next Generation. The one with Picard, please.
I kind of remember. Whatever,
You
man.
guys are not any nerds.
Anyways, I like Battlestar Galactica much more.
So I feel like it's just such a solid sci-fi show. The 2000s one we're talking about, right? Not the 60s.
Does anyone talk about the 60s one?
Some do. You're gonna get like the which one do you mean hipster question.
Jake, what about you? Do you watch Star Trek at all?
No, I did not. I guess Star Wars would probably be the closest thing to sci-fi that I've consumed. Obviously, I'm not a huge fan of the most recent movies, as a
I
true
still
Star
haven't
Wars
seen the
fan
ninth
would
one.
be.
I still haven't seen the 9th one. Get around to it sometime.
Yeah.
It took me a really long time. I watched all the new ones in theaters, but the 9th one I just didn't. I don't know why. I always do. Even if I know I'm going to hate them.
I watched none of them in theaters because I knew what it would be like, and I was disappointed to find out I was correct.
Yeah, even still though, like I hated them, but I would still go to watch them. You know, I'm like I
The first
consume
one-
like
No.
the I don't know arts of it. I guess.
I thought the 7th one was still a fantastic movie experience. You went there, you heard loud noises, it had cool scores.
Yeah, that kind of
reminded
stuff.
you
Right.
of 4, and then I wanted to see 8, and I was like, this was not. Really
That's why I
worth it.
went to watch in theaters. I think it was the just experience of the movie, not the movie story. You know?
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, it was a similar thing where I would go to the cinema to watch Marvel movies. It's not because I want to get blown away by some deep storyline. It's because I want fucking explosions, dude. like I'd go and see. I went and saw Endgame in the cinema, and I left it going, wow, that must have been what the Star Wars generation felt like when those first 3 Star Wars movies came out. Leaving the theater after that,
Probably.
like that's our Star Wars. Is that Endgame movie? It's not our actual. It's not actually Star Wars. It's our Marvel movies are the ones that the kids are going to grow up going, damn, that was sick when I was young. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I personally like Star Trek. I don't really watch it anymore, but I've seen Next Generation a couple times, Voyager a couple times, Deep Space Nine probably 1.5 times. Not sure that I have a favorite. I think I like the premise behind Deep Space Nine the best. But,
I think that's my favorite Star Trek if I had to pick one, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like that idea. Yeah.
If Janeway didn't become just like erratic and weird and like a stereotype of what people think woman in power would become, like
Yeah, Voyager got
weird
if it didn't do this towards the end, I would say that's my favorite.
Do you know what blew my mind when someone told me the other day, like not the other day, I mean like a year ago, but I was a fan of the show Orange is the New Black, and Red in Orange is the New Black is Janeway.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind. I'm like, holy shit, it is too. And then I instantly saw it. I just didn't notice it until someone mentioned it. But yeah.
Very different.
I love Orange is the New Black, but the new season I'm having a hard time getting through.
It doesn't end well.
Yeah.
The last season's not great.
Spoiler, bro. Damn.
I didn't say what happened.
None of them end well. None of the seasons have like a happy ending, man. They're in fucking.
No, I don't mean sad or happy. I just mean it's a shit season. I didn't say what the ending was. Okay. I'm just saying that the last season's bad.
I'll probably just not finish it. I'm on like episode 3. I'm like, oh, this is so boring right now.
Yeah, it's not gonna spoil what happens. I would never do that to you.
I appreciate that. All right, thanks for the question. Some drunken eating. Looks like we have a few more here. Kilo asks, if you were allowed to eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Kimchi mandu.
Pizza. I'm such a beta. Pizza. Pizza's my favorite. I've never not felt like pizza. I feel like pizza right now.
Damn.
Yeah, pizza is a crutch, man. Fuck,
I'm gonna go with pasta.
That's a good one.
I feel like I can do a lot with pasta. Lots of different flavors. And
that's the thing with pizza as well, though, right? Like
yeah,
it's all
something like that, though.
I ended myself in there with an exact type of mandu.
yeah. You jumped on
it.
You
only have that for 10 years. No, look. 10 years later, Artosis. 10 years later, you'd be like, all right, I'm kind of done with
kind of over it.
10 years.
But I know deep down in my soul that if I was eating nothing but pizza after 10 years, first of all, I'd be dead. Second of all, if I was still alive, I would still feel like pizza.
Dude, Papa John, right? That guy who went off the deep end, the actual guy who made it, and then he got booted out of his own company. He ate 30 pizzas in 25 days, something like that. You should see the before and afters.
Damn.
Yeah.
Don't look so healthy.
No,
I believe it. I believe it. It's terrible for you. But if there was some magical world where it didn't have all these negative health effects, I would only eat pizza probably. And only drink whiskey.
Different world,
yeah,
though.
I guess.
I would drink whiskey and water and eat pizza.
I really wouldn't like to give up Korean food though. So
do not say
so hard.
Korean food.
You know what? I can actually take it or leave it. I can actually take it or leave it. Korean food's never blown my mind when I've eaten in Korea.
I know that. I know you, Maynard.
Yeah,
well,
like I'm just saying. I'm saying that to the panel.
One food is insane. Okay, one type of food. Okay, fine. One food. Even pizza, I would get tired of.
Nope. You can do so many things with it.
Taste fatigue will eventually set in. When I first moved here, for like the first year, I ate bibimbap 3 times a day. and now I eat bibimbap like once a year, even though I loved it. It's like eventually, when I ate it 1,000 times in a row, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. All right. Thank you for the question. Optional player asks, the Command and Conquer Remastered is to be released tomorrow. It was highly
baby.
impactful in my life. It, along with the games Z and Homeworld, were heavily influential RTSs for me. Aside from Blizzard games, what was a 90s or 2000s RTS that was hugely influential for you all? Peace, love, and death metal.
My man. I actually forgot about Z, or as it was called in Australia, Z. But the that RTS was one that I completely forgot about until this question, and I have so many nostalgic memories of Z coming back to me now. Like that was actually, it was just basically red versus blue robots fighting over control points, and it was so cool. But I don't know if it'd be good anymore. Like I actually don't remember it, but I remember enjoying it a lot. Like it was on consoles and stuff back in the day. But if I had to say, I mean, the biggest missing ones there. Maybe June was a 90s one that I liked. June 2000 was one that I grew up playing a fair bit of. And Dark Rain was another one I played. I think that was 90s. There's so many RTSs. Rise of Nations, but I think that was later.
Yeah.
Rise of Nations is like 2005 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Early 2000s.
Remember, I had to buy that for my Mac. It came out for the Macintosh, and I was like, yeah.
I had a Mac then too. I was a Mac kid growing up in my family, and I had to wait. So that's part of the reason why Blizzard games were so important to me, because they were one of the very few companies that were like, this same CD, you can have an installation file for PC or Mac. I'm like,
exactly. That's why I got into Blizzard stuff. For me, it was Age of Mythology. I can't even really remember a lot of other RTSs. I played Command & Conquer on the PlayStation. At the same time, I was playing N64 StarCraft. So
Command & Conquer is number one for me, but I wasn't allowed to respond to Command & Conquer, I guess.
Yeah, well, if you can't pick Warcraft 3 as well, like or
I couldn't pick Warcraft. Warcraft 2 was actually probably bigger
Warcraft
for me than
2.
3, I think.
I'll choose Age of Mythology for sure. I didn't ever play Age of Empires.
It's a good response.
Do you have any others, Jake?
I mean, I was born in '96, and I was a kid.
So when you were
solid
3,
4 years.
what were you playing?
You had a solid 4 years.
I mean, the only
What'd you think?
RTS I can really remember was StarCraft 1.
It's 2000s RTS, so.
Like I was playing StarCraft 1 when I was like 6 and 7, and that was basically the beginning.
What if we stretch the answer out for you, because you were literally 4 when the 2000s kicked in? What like early mid 2000s RTS? That's not any of those things that's in the question. Would you like?
None.
None.
Just
Great.
StarCraft, honestly.
Cool.
I mean, when I started getting into like Xbox games and a bunch of other stuff, and there was really, I guess Halo Wars was on Xbox, so that game was terrible.
By the time he could play video games well, RTS was already kind of dying.
It was already down, yeah.
That's how it
The
feels.
heyday was
90s,
absolutely the 90s.
I feel kind of bad for, I guess, the Zoomers that missed the 90s RTS boom, because there were so many RTSs, and it was actually the biggest genre in the world at one point.
Yeah.
Damn, that feels bad.
I loved it. It actually turned me from an FPS gamer into an RTS gamer, because I just loved it so much. I think that's where I brought, like, where that whole love of the genre came from, was playing games in the 90s and just having so many to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I was in the FPS boom. I mean, we started getting like Halo and all these other games coming out, Call of Duties, and I mean, that was basically the only thing consumed on consoles was like the FPSs, so like zombies and quite unfortunate. I mean, once Halo or StarCraft 2 came out, I was sucked in forever, but until then, nothing really captured my attention, I guess. Maybe Brood War captured it just as long, though.
Yeah. For me, I liked Armies of Exego before they ruined it based on people in the beta giving them terrible feedback. I think that had potential to be, it was potential to be the best RTS with StarCraft. It was really great. I really enjoyed Age of Empires 3. Had a very good time playing that for a little bit. I actually liked Paraworld a bit, but the player base was too small to keep it alive. That's a game that had dinosaurs and tanks with lasers on them. I
mean, that's a no-brainer right there.
Clearly an awesome game. Other than that, I don't know. I guess that's all from that era. Didn't really like too much else. Dawn of War 1 was good. It was a good game. All right, thank you for the question. Paragleber asks, Bronze League viewer question. Why don't Zerg pros in StarCraft 2 research burrow so that they can simply hide all their drones in case of Minerline harass instead of trying to run away with them and still losing several? Or you only if you lose fighting time, that's also the case when you run away.
They do that.
No, they don't really.
Well, they don't research it for that reason, but they do burrow.
Sometimes.
Okay, let's imagine
it's not that good to burrow though because you can just scan and kill them anyways.
Yeah, that's the only real
True.
harassment you'd be burrowing from. I mean, if we're talking like oracles, that's way too early in the game. Talking DTs, I guess, kind of, then you probably just lose your base. When you're talking about anything Terran, it's the funniest thing to see them all burrow. A scan goes off, and then all the drones just die. And you're like, well, maybe it would have been nice to split them up. And then, you know.
Well, when you think about it, right, the ranged harassment that occurs later game when you could have burrow all comes from Terran who already has scan.
Yeah.
So if you burrow against Zealots dropped in your line or Roaches dropped in your line, or you run against them, you're losing basically the same amount, I think. So
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the question, Paragleber. Alessander asks, my ideal for team games is the Home Story Cup teams or Pig, ZG, Maynard, and Fear Dragon tearing up the team ladder together. If you four were in a charity tournament, would your team name be?
Us four.
Yeah.
Here.
I assume us four.
Oh,
Otherwise this will be real
I thought
awkward
you
for
were
me.
Zombie Grub, Maynard, and Fear Dragon.
Our team name?
How about NoRegreT Zombie-tosis?
That is the worst.
Did you just put Maynard's name as Dread?
Yeah.
I love how he gives us this terrible response and then leaves so he can't hear feedback.
Oh my
What an
God.
alpha
See
move
how
from
he looks
NoRegreT.
at Maynard and he sees one long dread.
Sorry, I have a delivery.
That's okay.
Commenting
back.
on your bias.
You like it? NoRegreT Zombie-tosis?
Why
No,
does
it's
Maynard
terrible.
get to be Dread?
Yeah.
I mean, what else is he known as?
Maynard?
Maynard? Yeah.
No, come
My
on.
fucking name?
Dreadtosis is way better.
Okay.
Then what would we call him? Nard? Nard?
Okay,
Zombie-tosis?
if you get to call me Dread, I get to call you Tall Big Guy.
Sorry, 1 second. Still here.
Once again, leaves for feedback.
shit,
Once again,
leave.
leaves for feedback.
Amazing.
Class act.
Great.
Class act from NoRegreT. 2-time Code SCVs player, by the way.
That's kind of a clever one in chat right there. Amazing regret. Trying to
go.
make all of our names put together.
It's trying. You're trying.
Yeah. You got one
I would
A
probably
from
give up.
Artosis.
I would probably give up my spot for someone else. I've recently realized I hate team games.
Yeah, fuck team games, but you still have to have the name.
Yeah.
It's for charity, Maynard.
I feel like because Zombie Grub.
I would do it for charity. I would do it for charity.
Build off of because it's like Zombie Grub is like a brain, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We're all smart, but we
Yeah.
do have this one guy that keeps on saying bad ideas and getting up. So it's like 3 zombie grubs and the fucking whatever the smooth brain.
What about Jake and the brains?
What?
How about that?
Brains. That's it.
Jake and the brains.
There it is.
Sounds like a
brains.
50s,
There it
50s
is.
rockabilly band, like one of those things, you know.
Jake and the brains.
Sounds like a punk band.
Wait, so we're not going with Nard Zombie-tosis?
No, that's a bad name.
No.
No.
Jake and the
Oh,
brains.
Jake and the brains.
Jake and the brains. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for
What
the
about
question.
Dread and the brains? I don't know.
We could go with Maynard.
Dreads in the brains.
We could go with Maynard and the brains as well. You could go with Maynard and the
Grubs
brains.
in the brains. Come on.
It's Jake and the brains.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Metis
We did it.
asks. Thank you, Alessandro. Wonderful question. Thoughts on a potential buff for Protoss that is not game breaking but raises skill ceiling? Allow Protoss to manually activate stasis ward like burrowed banelings. Could add a debuff to the units to avoid stasis stacking the same ones again and again.
Sorry, what?
What do you guys think about I think that would be too strong if you could set it
That would
off
be
yourself.
very strong.
That would be like
You can just
ridiculous.
throw them down like a minefield of them.
Yeah,
and
and then you
keep-
just like
keep it-
freeze out 3/4 of his army, go kill the rest, and Game's
Yeah.
over.
Agreed.
That's
Yeah,
a
that
bad
would be-
idea.
It's too strong.
Yeah.
I actually
Well,
like the way stasis works now. Like, you can do it. It's just really skillful to actually like hit the second stasis. You know, like when your army's about to go off. I like it. I think stasis is fine.
hmm
But
Yeah, I almost never see anyone actually get that pulled off.
it's really hard.
Uh,
Potential buff that's not game breaking but raises the skill ceiling.
well, it's not a question. This is his idea. Is that basically?
Oh well, no. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Menace. we
I actually
disagree.
think that would lower the skill ceiling too. By the way, but continue. Because we were talking
Well, you
about
have
how
to
skill.
do more things, but like, yeah, it
I
would
mean, if
make
you have to manually trigger it, it would, I feel, add to the skill ceiling, but it would also be extremely strong if someone got good at it.
yeah, like good players would wreck with it, and weaker players would have a harder time because of it.
It's every single one.
All right, last question here. Zip asks, "Hello. Do any of you have thoughts on high refresh rate monitors like 240 hertz, 140 hertz, etc.? Do refresh rates over 60 GZ impact StarCraft 2 at all? Do pros use them, etc.? Thanks." I have no idea. I always go to Jake for shit like this.
I would say that it affects pretty much everything. Like if you have a higher refresh monitor, every game looks smoother and feels nicer. Even just moving your mouse around a Windows interface feels nicer with a higher refresh monitor. So everything feels nicer with a higher refresh monitor. And do pros use them? I believe so. I remember specifically some pros getting upset that they were on slow monitors at like Home Story, not a Home Story Cup, but like some tournaments where like they would give them a 60 hertz monitor, and they're like, "Oh, I
DreamHack had a
can't."
problem with that.
They were like, "Oh, I can't control this shit. This feels like us," because they
Yeah.
actually been playing on like 144 hertz monitors. So I would say that most pros would use them. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
pros
it's
seem to matter.
unnecessary, but it's like a quality of life thing. And the problem with going back is when you really notice it. You know.
Yeah,
Like
you go down to
going
a 60.
forward, it feels really smooth. It's so great, but like really, it's quality of life. You really could just play totally fine on 60 hertz. There's no real difference. It just feels so much
shit.
nicer.
Yeah.
But then when you go backwards, you actually feel like you're at a disadvantage when you're not really. I don't think. But man, does it feel so much worse.
I swear to God, I didn't notice a damn difference. And this is
Really?
I got the monitor and I made sure that it was on the correct setting because I know that sometimes like it's still on 60 hertz or whatever. Swear to God, I don't feel a difference.
Honestly,
What about 30 to 60?
I went from a 60 to a 200 and something hertz monitor like last year, and the difference, like I was a 60 all the way until just last year, and the difference to me was like astronomical, absolutely massive,
It's
especially in
huge.
first
It's
person
really
shooters.
huge.
I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
everything felt so much smoother. Like watching SCVs, mine was just like the animations were smoother, the frame rates were smoother, everything just felt smoother.
I couldn't tell personally, and I played.
You
guys
games all the
suck.
time, so I don't.
You guys suck. You guys are the
Maybe
people
it's
that think
possible.
you can't. You
These
guys
are
are the
boomers.
people
This
that
is
are
what
like,
boomers look like,
no,
guys.
Total Biscuit. You can't see 60 frames per
We
second.
found them.
You found them, guys. Here we are.
You're the people that think the human eye can't see over 30 FPS.
Well, that's
That's what
true.
That's what you guys
so
are.
That's
It's not
why
there.
all my videos are in 30 FPS.
I'm glad that the monitor industry has you two on board. All right.
The monitor industry successfully brainwashed NoRegreT.
The only thing is that there are diminishing returns going up, right? Like the difference between 120 and 240 is getting harder, and then 240, like continuing. Eventually, you will get to a point where you just don't notice the difference.
Yeah,
Like
and that's at 30.
a 30, the difference between 30 and 60 is massive, and the difference between 60 and 120 is massive. Okay,
know
those are
what?
huge differences.
I've played on like other computers too, I swear, or other monitors, I should say, and I feel like I don't know the difference. But one day I'm gonna try it just for you guys.
Amazing.
See if
I
it
actually have some 60 hertz
affects
monitors
me.
right there next to you. Next time you come to my hometown, you visit me again, which you will, I'm sure.
I'll pick up
I
my
will-
cloud lifter as well that you promised to give me. So like,
All right. It'll be the most expensive cloud lifter you've ever gotten, but I will give it to you next time you come. I forgot, all right? Shit. Get off my back, woman. God damn it.
that's okay. I forgot that I scheduled my flight the day after I told you to drop.
That
me off
is
at the
true.
airport.
You did that. This is a Zonny
Fair-
Grub was
fair
like, all right,
square.
see, we hugged, gave our fond farewells, and then she messaged me like as I was leaving the airport. Oh, dude, my flight's tomorrow.
Damn.
What a
I'm
pleb.
usually very good at travel.
Amazing. Yeah,
itinerary,
amazing. Well, extra night is on the grub. Good times.
Well,
Yep.
that is all the questions, guys, and that wraps up the show pretty much. thank you. It's been an excellent episode. Once again, guys, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/the Pylon Show. Yeah, it was great today. I guess we just say goodbye, right? I haven't done a Pylon Show in 3 weeks, so I'm kind of floundering.
Have
Here. I'm like, what-
you've forgotten how to end the show?
Am I forget? No. All right. So again, thanks guys. Why don't you tell people where they can find you, follow you, what you're up to, all that stuff. Maynard, let's start with you.
Twitch TV Maynard, twitter.com Maynard SC2, and that's it. I'm streaming most days, and I've been doing mainly StarCraft content, a little bit of not StarCraft content as well. And yeah, that's it. That's all I'm doing is streaming right now. I'm not really casting anything at the moment, apart from whatever weeklies are kicking in. So yeah.
All right. Zombie Grub, how about you?
I also stream a lot. I'll be streaming tomorrow on my channel, twitch.tv/zombiegrub. I also will be casting TSL this Sunday with Roddy, so that's on TeamLiquid. And then I recently released a video I think that you all would enjoy watching, which was it's part of StarCraft 2 history series. It's on my YouTube, youtube.com/zombiegrub.
Very cool. That's cool that you're doing that. And I've said for many years that StarCraft needs some sort of history videos out there. People don't forget.
Yeah, they're hard.
Jake, how about you? Where can people find you?
Twitter, I guess. I didn't even really tweet, so twitter.com/
streaming like every day for a bit. You're doing a great job. What's happening?
I don't know. I guess I've lost my way. I'll probably start streaming again soon. Been kind of busy with life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping I'll get back on track because I was streaming every day. So I guess follow me on Twitter and follow my Twitch because I definitely will start streaming again. It's just a matter of time. I always come back.
Okay. All right. Well, as for me, I stream all the damn time. I will be streaming actually tomorrow morning very early because there's Command & Conquer being released. And I've never really tried the game, so I'm going to give it a try. And GSL's tomorrow, so check that out. Also, once again, a big thanks to our supporters on the Pylon Show. Our $100 tier for May, Maynard, Field of Sins, Lazy Bipolar Bear, Astrofin, Shane, and VDEC. And of course, our June 2020 Astrofin, Jerry Wang, Maynard, Rip Exodus, Shane, and VDEC. Really appreciate you all, guys. And of course, Rip Exodus for the gigantic $1,000 for that 1 month that put us over for all of our goals, which is great. Other than that, thank you to the Pylon Show team. They are all fantastic, and it obviously does not happen without them, as you saw for the past 2 weeks, because it was only me. All right. So that's it. We'll be back at our regular time next week, which is Wednesday night in USA. And yeah, we will see you then. Thanks for watching.